Oh, hold on 1 second. That's the FBI. I'm gonna go do my 4th interview. Oh no. Is Slasher equipped for this? Who raped? Who was raped? Bonus. But if a kid runs out into the street, you're gonna fucking run him over. If a car like fucking cuts you off, you're gonna fucking get in an accident. Here's like a piece of advice that I try to give to people that seems like very unintuitive to most people. That was the closest I ever came to killing myself. I don't think I ever would because I'm too narcissistic for it. Oh shit. Hold on. I don't actually know if I can talk about this. This is actually so sad. Holy shit. Oh, the shitter workout I'm doing now until TwitchCon. Daddy wants to do, but more importantly, I'm anonymous for a reason. Nazis stalk my account and give me my outspoken support for Palestinian rights. I'd also be targeted by fascist outlets like Canary Mission. Who the fuck is this person that they honestly think anybody gives a fuck about them and would target them? This person is like a literal like fucking Twitter warrior. Like no one gives a fuck about you, bro. No one is gonna go fucking find you or find your shit or whatever. Like seriously, holy shit. Oh, this is, I don't know where the original tweet chain was, but basically this guy always like snipes tweets at me. I don't think there's much of a distinction between social democrats and liberals. Yeah, Reagan and Thatcher are classic social democrats. Anyone who takes anything alt-centrist as he says about politics seriously is mind-bogglingly ignorant as he is. Nobody defines political parties or political movements by what they were 100 years ago. I don't think that's a very controversial take. I mean, I guess you can if you're trying to flex on somebody. But like, Skylar used to fanboy you like 3 months ago? Yeah, when I was shitting on people on the right. Did you actually say what he said in quotations, unironically? 100 years? I don't know how long ago it was when neoliberal or fucking soc dem started as terms. But I mean, like...
Keep up the good fight of trying to bring logic back into the liberal base.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah, this is literally the same argument the Republicans use to say that Democrats are slave owners, right? Like, we don't use Democrat the same way today that we did 70 years ago. We don't use Republicans the same way we have in a long time, like... 100 years ago, the swastika wasn't a Hitler thing. Yeah, sure. Has neoliberalism actually changed significantly since the 80s or 90s? Just confined to online communities? I have no idea. People say that, like, Hillary Clinton and stuff, it would be, like, Hillary Clinton and Obama would be considered neoliberal. All of these, like, political labels these days, at least on the internet, are very fucking fluid. Like, they seem to change, or they seem to be, like, I don't know, like, people use these in a lot of different ways now. But nobody goes to a political label today and is like, oh, well, let's go back and find out what this guy thought 50 years ago when the label was used. Like, that's a really stupid way of using political labels. I don't know why anybody would say it. Well, I know why you say it. It's because you're trying to get easy dunks on me. But remember how mad we got when Donald Trump said alt-left? Now we have the alt-center. Wait, what? Do you just throw alt in front of, like, any group that you don't like? And now it's like... Did you see the increase in the use of logic, bro? Yeah, I've seen that. I see it a lot on Hassan's subreddit, and I've seen it a couple times on the left now. I saw it a little bit when Michael Burks and Sam Cedar were pushing back against fact checkers. It's super depressing to me that it feels like the same type of anti-intellectual bend that people on the right have. And this is like another thing that I kind of noticed is that like nobody seems to have like any like principles or values. It's more just like I will agree with whatever institution is currently supporting what it is that I agree with, right? So like the right obviously disregards all academic institutions because nothing the right does has any academic basis whatsoever. Their morality is philosophically bankrupt.
Wowie.
Their political positions are generally indefensible. Their scientific positions are scientifically illiterate and indefensible. So they're like, oh, you know, fuck all the academic institutions, which makes sense. That's fine, right? You'd expect them to say that. But then people on the left will appeal to science when it comes to things like, oh, look, transgender people are real. It's the APA says it. It's in the literature. But then when they want to talk economics, well, all the economic systems are actually debunked. Like, this is bullshit. They're all capitalists and they're rigging the system. And now all these people are trying to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay. I'm not gonna be able to find the original tweet mainly because I don't give a fuck this one. But I think this guy was tweeting something like, "Oh, like yeah, I think I think I'd beat Destiny in debate, but you know I can't do it because you know how people will stalk me and shit." It's like, okay, dude, like nice job. You win by default. If you offered to debate after seeing your response, would you accept? Yeah, of course I would. I don't think they would though. I think I'm starting to see the same trend with the progressives as I kind of saw with the people that were like the alt-righters or like the hardcore conservatives, that everybody's like Everybody's like 2 questions from collapse, where it's like, well, why do you think this? Why do you think that? Ah! It's like, okay. Oh yeah, Squirrel Bro literally said he knew every single response to his claims before you could think of them. He's playing chess while you're still playing checkers. Yeah, she thinks that like I run down like my NPC dialogue tree or some shit. Yeah. Okay, real quick. No more. Don't link any more tweets from this dipshit. What is the point of having a voice debate? Oh wait, they unblocked me. I can actually respond. What do you think this will accomplish aside from me risking having my identity outed and putting myself and my family in danger? What did she just say? I haven't debated you, and there are already people in your subreddit accusing me of being an anti-Semite and an alt for some sex pest. Incidentally, the creep who made this last claim has been obsessed with me for months and is spreading that shit ever. Wow, dude, welcome to the fucking club. What a hard life. Man, it must be so hard being an anonymous person on Twitter. Oh, hold on 1 second. That's the FBI. I'm gonna go do my 4th interview in 2 years. Fuck out of here, dude.
We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video game.
President Trump blaming video games as one of the reasons behind mass shootings in the U.S. This as lawmakers struggled to agree on ways to prevent future gun violence, and demands for action rising after the massacres in Texas and Ohio that left.
Oh no. 31. Is Slasher equipped for this? How are you going to ever cite video games over current Republican rhetoric? How could you even think to do that? That pivot. Oh, no.
People dead. Rod Slasher Breslow is a competitive gaming leader and an esports consultant. You were here just last week to help me understand and explain to everybody about the benefits of Fortnite and these young people getting together in these big competitions, making a lot of money. But then we have these shootings. President Trump wasn't the only one saying that this weekend. Here's House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, similar sentiments.
The idea of these video games to dehumanize individuals.
Part of this community, you've been fighting back against this sentiment for a long time. How do you respond to that?
I mean, I've been watching a lot of the guests and interviews on Fox News, and it has been very frustrating as someone who comes from the video game industry. I've personally been playing first-person shooters in these games for, 15, 20 years, and I have never had any type of intention to go out and perform real-life violence. And that same sentiment is for everyone that plays video games. Video games are an international, worldwide phenomenon, played in every single country in the world, including these first-person shooters played worldwide. But these things only happen here in America. We do not see or have that violence anywhere else in the world, even though everyone else is still playing those games.
Damn, I have 0 fucking expectations for Slasher coming into this. That was a good opening. Nice job. You hit them all. You have our personal anecdote. I play games. I don't kill people, which is effective in these types of situations. Then drawing a distinction between America and the rest of the world. Everybody plays fucking violent video games. The only place these mass shootings happen are here in America. That's a really good opening. That was really good.
Dan Patrick is the lieutenant governor of Texas. Of course, one of the shootings, the El Paso shooting, happening in his state. He had this to say about a soldier fantasy. Watch this.
This manifesto, he talks about living out his super soldier fantasy on Call of Duty. We know that the video game industry is bigger than the movie industry and the music industry combined. What's changed in this country? We've always had guns, we've always had evil, but what's changed where we see this rash of shooting? And I see a video game industry that teaches young people to kill.
Okay, so he's making the case that if you have especially these shooter games where you can actually basically dehumanize somebody, he's making the case that maybe that is a problem.
Yeah, and it is total nonsense, and it sounds like the same politicians that would do the same thing 10 or 15 years ago, whether it's blaming Grand Theft Auto or Marilyn Manson and metal music, to try to push the issue aside from anything that is actually happening. All forms of entertainment, whether it's video games or movies or music, do not directly influence someone to have violent acts. And to perpetuate that stereotype is hurting the entire discussion and is moving away from the real issues that are going on here, most namely guns and the access to the gun issue. I mean, I've seen a lot of people talking about it. People don't want to be taking away people's guns in this country, but there has to be a better discussion on you being able to acquire them and everything around that. And there are other auxiliary issues like mental health that go on.
Let me ask you about this, because we're going to talk to Jonathan Morris in the next segment about this idea that of young people who are, young men in particular, who are disaffected from their communities, loners, maybe in their rooms, but they find these online chat rooms. But it's a misconception to think that those are the people that are actually participating in games like
I love Twitter video. It's such a good
Fortnite, because as you were showing us last week, people who are playing games with people all around the world, they have more friends than they can count.
Yeah, it really is a misconception of people thinking that people are sitting in their basements or whatever playing games. But in reality, especially with the current way that games are gone, everything is online and there's a lot of international competition, whether it's video games or esports. People are communicating with other people from around the world every day, and it really is a community of people meeting each other, meeting up, talking to each other, and really get friend groups that you're not able to. For a lot of kids out there playing games at home, being able to sit there and play games with other people is what uplifted them and is what really brought them into a new light when maybe they were in a dark place. And games are a thing that brought people together, and really that is what should be noted more for.
So how frustrating is it for the gaming community to listen to, as you're saying, politicians who are using arguments that they've been using for 10 or 15 years, even if it was movies back when I first worked on Capitol Hill?
Yeah, I mean, it really is ridiculous. I mean, for me to hear, it's also to watch Fox News and see people come on.
Well, it's not just Fox. I mean, they're everywhere.
How do you draw the line between racist memes influencing people to become Nazis versus B, games influencing people to kill? Wouldn't you say if you agree with it, then B is also true? I believe neither are.
No, B occurs within the context of this is the action that I'm doing in a video game. Humor is something that generally crosses over into our real life perceptions of things a lot more. I mean, now it is possible that like video games could reinforce negative stereotypes, or video games could reinforce like negative aspects of a culture. So for instance, like video games could reinforce like racist thought or misogynistic thought or something. But I just don't think it's like there's any evidence right now, or unless it's changed in the past like 5 or 10 years. I haven't read into this in a long time, that video games are like linked to making people more violent. I don't think that's necessarily true. The type of like rhetoric and then the type of like thought that we see like on political platforms online is usually a lot more extreme than like the type of political stuff. Like games are really light when it comes to politics, you know? Whereas like online humor or those types of things can start to get into like some pretty heavy political shit. You know, maybe if games were like more political, maybe I would believe it. Like if we started to get full games of like Antifa super soldiers going out and killing Republicans, or full games of like crazy like alt-righters running out and killing black people, maybe then I would start to think like a little bit more like, okay, yeah, actually I can see this being a problem, but yeah.
Including Trump, to see him continue to perpetuate the myth that video games and other forms of entertainment media like music or movies are really influencing the youngsters out there to do these acts is ridiculous. And we need to move on from these topics to really get into why this is continuing happening, because we don't want to see shootings in America, and we don't want our favorite hobby, which is gaming and esports, which only helps people to continue to be blamed.
There was a study from Oxford. It said there was no evidence for a critical tipping point relating violent game engagement to aggressive behavior. There are other studies indeed, and of course we have this from the Royal Society of Open Science. They're right there. You can see it. That would be from Oxford. Rod Slasher-Breslow, thanks for coming in and helping us understand it.
Thank you, Dana. I'll teach you the dance moves next time.
Okay, yeah, we got to work on those dance moves. All right.
Wait, what? Oh no, he's DMing her.
Oh, and you know what's kind of troll too? That like we've let Trump say and get away with so much shit, and then he attacks, video games, and we're like, racism? I can allow that. My video games? Oh, and you know what?
True. Holy shit. Oh, real quick, I'm sorry, because I see this meme popping up left, so or popping up a lot on my subreddit. Yesterday, I made the joke, or kind of a joke, that I said that like Hassan should be running his YouTube as like a co-op, or that he shouldn't be like paywalling his content or whatever. A lot of people on my subreddit, I'm guessing are getting from Hassan's subreddit, are saying things like, oh, well, you live in a society, so you can't critique it, blah, 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 blah. So I know that we like to spread memes without really thinking about them, but let's think for a minute what that meme actually means, right? The reason that we, paywall piker, yeah. The reason why you say it's stupid to tell somebody that they can't critique something, yet they can participate in it, right? Why can you do that? How are you allowed to participate in society, critique it? The reason why we typically say that this is a stupid argument is because people don't usually have a choice, right? Like if some guy wants to sit and talk about how great cooperatives all day long are, and this guy's making like $30K a year, and you're like, oh, well, you work for a business owner, what's your, and it's like, well, fuck, like this guy doesn't have the ability to like meaningfully push back against the system without causing like measurable harm to himself. So like if some lower class worker or whatever wants to critique capitalism, of course he has to participate in it. He doesn't have a choice. That's where that meme comes from. That is what it's supposed to mean. You can't take somebody that has no other options, no other recourse but to participate in capitalism and then make fun of him for participating in capitalism. It's insane. But that argument doesn't apply to Hassan. Hassan is almost a top 1%er in terms of income. It would be trivial for him to cooperatively own his YouTube channel, or it would be trivial of him to not paywall his content. Now, I don't know if he's getting kickbacks from the Young Turks for selling subscriptions for people that click through to the program that he's hosting or anything like that. But this is a guy that's making, you know, probably over $200,000 a year. Like, this is not somebody that is like, oh, well, just because I participated, it doesn't mean I can't critique it. Like, well, no, you have actually the ability to push back and actually like try some of the things you advocate for. Not only do you say cooperatives are more morally sound than capital ownership, you also say that they run more efficiently too. So if anybody was ever in a position to push that model and prove the efficiency of it, or the efficacy of it, I should say, I mean, you would be in the position to do it. Like if you can't do it, I mean, who the fuck is ever supposed to, you know? But yeah. 200K a year is in top 1%. I'm sure it's getting close. I mean, let's check. Top 1% income. A family needs to earn an income of 421K. I wonder if this is for, I wonder if that includes like dual earner people, or if this is like for an individual. Damn, in California, you need 514K to be top 1%. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, but these just aren't good arguments. It's not his company, and he is his YouTube. Is not a business with employees. This is ridiculous. You have no idea what is happening behind closed doors. Why I assume Hassan has not been streaming long at all, reaching. Hassan has been streaming for over a year, firstly. Secondly, Hassan has a huge presence on Twitch. He could definitely push back against the Young Turks paywalling his content. I know that he could. I know for a fact that he could. Absolutely. He's huge on Twitch. He probably has some of the largest online presence outside of YouTube of anybody in the Young Turks, or maybe the largest online presence outside of YouTube of anyone in the Young Turks. So to tell me that he has no influence over the pricing of a product that he's offering via that channel, especially, I mean, like, we're not going to get into the insanely hilarious irony of a show called Agitprop being paywalled behind a company for capitalist profits. I mean, like, I mean, you could do it. And YouTube is not a business with employees. I mean, you're hiring somebody to do editing work for you. That's, you own capital, right? The capital is your channel, and you are hiring an editor who is coming in to work for you, and then you are building that asset, and you're keeping the difference, right? So, I mean, didn't Hassan say he makes 60K a year in his debate with Charlie Kirk? He makes 60K a year. That's the salary that he draws from the Young Turks, but he makes easily over 100K a year. What did we come up with? It was easily over 100K a year from his Twitch channel. Pretty sure he would just use the argument they use for climate change. Even if I did that, it wouldn't create enough impact. Doing other things creates a bigger impact. No, but that's different. I don't think there's an inherent moral wrong with eating animals. He thinks there's an inherent moral wrong with being a capitalist. So he has a greater moral imperative to do the thing that is right, even if it is making a small change, firstly. Secondly, he says that it's more efficient to run things as co-ops anyway, that we wouldn't suffer economic loss or anything as a result. Well, then why not do it? You don't know for a fact. He tells, I do know. I mean, this is my job. What do you mean, dog? I do know. Of course you do. If you have a fucking huge online presence and you're producing some whatever fucking show that's going to get 15K hits a month, you're telling me that somebody that pulls a 2K concurrent viewership on Twitch and has like as much of an online presence as Hassan does can't pressure them to either release the stuff for free immediately or at least do it on his YouTube channel? Fuck out of here. Of course he could do that. The fuck out of here. Or he could fucking front the cost for producing it himself. Again, he's making almost 200K a year. Like, he could probably do a fundraiser for it, like having like a Patreon or some shit. You get the fuck out of here, dude.
Why do I keep subscribing to you? Bonus meme Shrugstiny.
Is that kind of what you do with your YouTube, 50-50 with Gary? No. My YouTube is not a co-op. I don't know. People say sometimes like, oh, you're basically ran. People did this meme back in the day. Like, oh, you basically run your YouTube like a co-op. No, I own my YouTube. I do a 50% rev split, but I am the sole owner. So I could kick my people off at any time and say, oh, fuck you. This is my channel. I'm keeping it. Get the fuck out. You have no equity in this at all. So no, I do not share my YouTube channel in that way. I share the profits, but that's it. Same thing as Hassan, though. This is proof you were consistent from the beginning.
No, we definitely agree on that, which is why I think you're a suck dem. But
well, no, I am. But suck dem is
Yeah. Yeah, no,
it's way different. It's way different than a Democrat, socialist, or socialist.
No,
like,
I know. I understand.
Okay,
No, because you were like before you were like, oh, am I neoliberal or liberal? Or,
well, I don't know if neoliberal and SOCDEM are necessarily exclusionary. I get so many emails back and forth from people that hate the law.
No, because neoliberalism has like a more hawkish perspective. And
This is a year ago. Nice. Not even a year ago. Damn, we didn't even survive a year. Holy shit.
Not even a year, Nathan feels pokey cry.
Is Peter Coffin a socialist? Oh god, I hope not. I would argue the reason you might not be morally inconsistent by not co-owning your own YouTube channel is that it blurs the line between a private good and a personal good. Absolutely not. What do you know? Way, a YouTube channel would absolutely be a private good. I have a YouTube channel that I post content on, and I use that to generate revenue for myself. That's absolutely a piece of private property, especially if I have other people that I hire to work it. It might be like located in a digital space, but it's absolutely not a personal good. It's a private one. Is this quote from Hassan or a mass shooter? Nah, but only because Harris is a cop. Warren, I'd happily vote for him. Shut the fuck up. I don't know if the Dayton shooting was politically motivated. I don't know. We might talk about that later today. That's one that we might go back and forth on. Oh, hey, guys, are we almost there? Wait. Oh, I get 40,000 followers. Oh wait, almost 39,979. Follow my friend on Twitter. There you go. I think this might be the highest I've gotten a Twitter account before. Destiny, please weigh in on this. It started a debate that's going on for an hour. I posted it in your Discord. I think it's Portal question tier. Uh-oh. A man wants to have heterosexual sex. He has a phobia of women and can only feel safe if the woman is unconscious. He has no morals. He decides to drug a woman in order to have sex with her. A woman learns this. She's attracted to him, or else just intends to take one for the team. She takes an antidote, then maneuvers herself into being the one he drugs. She pretends to be unconscious while he has sex with her. Who raped? Who was raped? Bonus, she impregnates herself with his sperm. Who has parental rights? Who has parental duties? I don't think this is that hard of a problem. Actually, ready? Are you ready? We're going to ignore the bonus one because I don't even know if the bonus is fun. But on both of these up here, both of them are rapists. That's the only possible takeaway from this. Does pretending to be passed out make you a rapist? Yes. Because you're basically tricking somebody into having sex with you under false pretenses, which I think we would generally say is a form of rape. Now, the pretenses that this guy wants would be considered rape as well. However, if the woman expressed consent before being drugged, would this be rape? Oh, no, if the woman expressed consent, then absolutely not. But let's say, for instance, we can augment this slightly to see how we feel, right? Let's say that the man only wants to have sex with a sleeping woman. And let's say the woman says, okay, come into my room at 2 p.m. and I will be napping. Guaranteed, I promise I'll be asleep. Let's say the guy goes into the woman's room and the woman is actually not sleeping, but she pretends to be sleeping, right? We could argue that this is a form of rape, right? That the man would go in and have sex with a woman. She'd be pretending to be sleeping, but it would be under false pretenses, right? Didn't the girl get herself drugged on purpose with the goal of having sex with him? He thinks he's raping her, but she is consenting. I don't think the act of rape requires a victim or requires the other person to like be violated. So for instance, let's say that I stumble into a room and my goal is to rape somebody, okay? Or rather, actually, let's get away from rape. Let's say that I go into a room and let's say that like, hold on. These get into really weird definitions, actually. I'm not sure. We would have to separate out like the legal crime from like the moral crime. So maybe legally you wouldn't be a rapist, but morally I think you would be. Here's something. Let's say that I really want to murder someone, okay? I walk into their room, okay? I turn on the light and I see the person is sleeping underneath their blankets. Take out my gun and I fire 5 shots into their body and then I walk out. Let's say that it wasn't actually a person under the blankets, it was a bunch of pillows. I think morally you've like committed the act of murder, pretty much. But legally or practically, you didn't really because there wasn't a person there. But for all intents and purposes, you absolutely did, right? Like you performed an action that you believed would have led to some outcome, you had full agency, and then you enacted a certain thing. Like, That's just attempted murder, which is illegal. I think attempted murder exists because legally we have to, and because most people are really comfortable with that concept. But personally, I think attempted murder is an insanely fucking stupid charge. I don't agree with it. I would never say that like attempted murder shouldn't be something that we have in the legal system. Like there should just be like acts of murder and like that's it. Like if somebody shoots me in the fucking chest, the fact that their punishment is going to rely on whether or not I survive in the ER, it's really fucking weird. Like if I live, it's attempted murder. If I die, then you get first degree murder. If you thought about it, right? Like that seems like pretty stupid in my opinion. Like both of them were acts of murder. I mean, I guess, but like it's not really murder because you didn't kill somebody, but like both of them were attempted murder. Technically, everything is an attempted thing, right? Like both of these things were attempted murder. You know, one you just happened to succeed and the other you didn't, right? But don't you care about the consequences? So no, I don't care about consequences. I care about like repeatability, predictability, right? If you have a person that's attempting murder on somebody, I don't really care so much if they happen to murder a particular person. It's more so this is a person that's willing to attempt to murder people. Does that make sense? Like, it's not so much the consequence of a single trial, but if you run it 100 times, what would happen, I guess, is what. But isn't that distinction being made because judgments aren't infallible, so we make crimes based more on outcomes because those are more factual? But no, it doesn't make sense. Honest to God, it doesn't make sense. Like I feel like I could win this argument a million times against even a fucking judge. Like for instance, well, yeah, unless they want to get into to damages being, would you consider it, is it punitive? Punitive means you're just trying to punish somebody, right? I think. Like unless you're talking about like punitive, like justice or whatever. Like here's an easy example. If I go out and punitive would be punishment damages. So retribution. I don't know. There's a word there. But if I get into, let's say I go out drunk driving and I get into an accident with another car. Let's say that in one scenario I kill a family of 4. Let's say in another scenario the other person walks away unscathed. The punishment should be the same for both of those actions. It's insanely stupid that your punishment depends on who was in the car and who can survive the accident. That's insanely stupid. It doesn't make any sense. You can never defend that. You'll never win an argument defending that. I think that's like insanely stupid. Like your punishment basically comes down to the luck of who's in the car, even though both people are committing the same crime with the same potential downsides to both. Like, this is the actual definition of the concept of moral luck. Oh yeah, fuck. I actually read about this like a week ago. The academic definition of moral luck, I think it has to do with something where like, fuck, what is it? Like I buy like a horse for some family because I think it's going to make them bankrupt and they're going to like not be able to take care of it or some shit. But in actuality, they get the horse and they start racing with it and they become rich. And it was like, I was morally lucky. I think something like you basically unintentionally like wind up doing an action that I think that's like the academic term for like moral luck or something. The way that Rem uses it isn't how like anybody actually uses it in academia. Although I don't know how much he would stand by like his phrasing. I think it was like a throwaway phrasing, but it's the difference between someone driving drunk and killing someone versus someone driving drunk and nothing happening. I think you could even back it up and say driving drunk period should be treated with almost the same consequences as driving drunk and getting into an accident, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. From a utilitarian perspective, do the rape utils cancel each other out so you have no rapes? I don't know, Eric. I think you would just have 2 rapes instead of no rapes. Both people in that situation are bad people. If someone attempts to drive drunk, it doesn't matter if they actually end up driving drunk, right? They're willing to drive while intoxicated, which is the issue. Pepe laugh, boy. Anytime you try to drive, if you've consumed alcohol within the past 48 hours, that's driving drunk. Didn't you try to drive drunk with Andy? I did. I admit it. I did try to drive drunk that day. I believe that I had consumed alcohol 7 hours prior to entering my vehicle. I should have waited the full 2 weeks necessary. I should have waited the full 2 weeks necessary to let the alcohol clear my system. I'm sorry, guys. I was a bad person. It's my bad. I don't know what I was thinking. You were visibly off? Yeah, probably because I was a little tired because it was kind of late. But, you know, it's okay, my dude. You don't have to be molding, my mate. Isn't driving tired the same as driving drunk? No, I don't think so, but it can be. You believe committing immoral acts against immoral people is just as bad as committing those acts on moral people? Kind of, yeah. Probably, yeah. I mean, unless you're targeting immoral people to commit your acts, then that's a little bit different. I guess it depends on whether or not it's intentional or unintentional that you're targeting immoral people. Thoughts on driving stoned? Pretty much everyone I know that smokes weed does it and seems to drive fine. Honestly, most of the time you can probably drive stoned, or you can even probably drive buzzed. The problem isn't that like you can't do it. The problem is that if you have to react to something, you're fucked. That's why it's so dangerous to do it, right? Like if you're slightly buzzed, or if you're stoned when you're driving, like you can drive, but if a kid runs out into the street, you're gonna fucking run him over. If a car like fucking cuts you off, you're gonna fucking get in an accident. If something is like off, if like a light turns, you're not expecting it or whatever, like all of your reactions are insanely slowed. Or if somebody else is driving recklessly, the chances of you hitting them or getting whatever is like fucked. Also, your ability to evaluate how intoxicated or how high you are when you're in those states of mind is really hard too. So if you're like, oh, I can probably drive buzzed, it's hard to know like if you're buzzed or wasted unless you like have like a sobriety test that you're ready to do to test yourself or whatever. So like generally, it's not a good idea to drive under any type of like substance, I don't think. You shouldn't drive tired either. The only like driving tired can be okay because like you can like wake yourself up a little bit. Like if you're super drunk, I don't really think you can have like, okay, I'm gonna sober up for like 10 seconds. But if you're pretty tired, you can like, I'm gonna pop a Red Bull, roll my window down, and fucking like power through like these like 3 or 4 minutes, as long as you're not like fucking exhausted. I think like there's a little difference, but people that drive like people that do like long-term driving tired though, that's real bad. My dad used to do it all the time. That shit is really fucked. This shows that there are no changes in chance of crash on pot. I'm almost positive that your reaction times are slowed when you're high. Now, it might be possible. I'm going to be an anecdote Andy here. I had a friend that drove to work high every time. Now, he didn't get into any crashes. However, the reason why he didn't get any crashes is because he drove on the interstate at fucking 45 miles an hour. Okay? So it might be possible that people that are high don't get into car accidents because they drive a lot fucking slower and maybe more safe. More safely. So like that could be possible. I'm not sure, but I'm almost positive that like when you're under the influence of marijuana, like your reaction times are dulled. Like I'm almost positive it's true. Man, we should look this up actually. I guess like some reaction. Does you know that someone in the traffic institute or something in Norway said that on average when you're on cannabis you're about as impaired or impeded as if you were driving in the dark as opposed to in the day? Man, I'm so curious, dude. There have been times where I've smoked and I've really wondered. I was like, I really want to try driving high because I'm really curious like what it would be like. I'm just really paranoid of wrecking my car. I would kill myself if I crashed my car. I've never been like in a car accident before. And if I actually wrecked like my car, I would hate myself so much. So I've never actually like tried it. I've never actually done it. Because I guess like the thing that makes me the most nervous is that like if I'm high, like I don't know if I can really like how can I objectively evaluate how high I am, right? Like how expensive is the car? It's not like it's a $40K car. It's not so much that it's like super expensive for me to replace. I don't know if this is still like a holdover from me being like really poor, but the idea of like breaking my shit or the idea of like having people steal shit from me really, really, really bothers me. Dude, when I see kids that break their shit, or like every single person that I meet has like a phone with like 30 fucking cracks in the screen. I don't know why. It like triggers the fuck out of me. Like, dude, that's your shit. Why are you breaking your shit? What are you doing? That's your stuff. What are you doing? I don't know. That drives me fucking crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Like lending, I only let one person drive my car. I think maybe in my entire life. I let my mom drive my car once. She hit a fucking deer. But yeah, the idea of like letting somebody drive my car, dude, oh my God, it feels so bad for me. Oh no, actually, I let Erin drive my car when we drove from Omaha to LA so that we could make the drive quicker. She's probably driven my car more than any other person. Actually, easily more than any other person in my entire life. But I mean, I consider her trustworthy. But I was also really nervous the entire time. It was really hard to sleep while she was doing that. I don't know, the idea of just somebody else breaking my shit makes me so fucking paranoid. I also don't know what it feels like though when it's smoking. I don't know if I've ever gotten like, not buzzed. What do you call when you get like a little high? I guess people still call that buzz, don't they? It feels like I'm either not high at all or I'm like super high. I don't know. I don't know like what it feels like to be in the like just like buzzed high. It's called head rush. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like sometimes I try to like smoke and I'll just like keep going like a little and a little and a little. Cause like, all right, I just want to get like a little high and then like nothing happens at all. I wait like 30 minutes and then I just kind of like smoke a little bit more.
Drunk driving Steve
and then
here.
nothing
Hitting
happens.
deer and 6 pulling
And then,
shitters.
like,
It's 89.
All of a sudden, it'll be like, oh shit, I'm super fucking high. Like, that's what'll happen every time. I remember the last time I had one of those vape things, it's like, I'm just gonna get a little bit high. And it was just like, yeah, it was like 40 minutes in, I'm like, I don't think I'm high at all. And I'll try to like laugh a little bit, like, yeah, am I high? I really don't think I am. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm just laughing. I don't think I'm high. And then I just like smoke a little bit more. And then all of a sudden, my eyes will just go like real big, like, oh shit. Oh, I'm super fucking high right now. What the fuck happened? And I'll be like insanely fucking high. I don't know. Yeah. Do you become super aware when you get super high? When I get high, I just like melt into the couch and I can't think or do anything. I'm just there, and I can barely even like putting together like a whole sentence is like really hard. I think I mentioned this, dude. When we went to I'm pretty sure we talked about this. I don't know how many viewers I had. Raj called me one day during E3 and he's like, dude, you want to get fucking high with Mike Tyson? And I'm like, fucking sure, dude. Why not? And we went to like the Tyson Ranch place, and where they make their own weed, and they're like bragging like, oh yeah, this is like, what did I say? I don't even remember what the percentage was. They're like, this is like, was it like 35% weed or some shit? I don't know what the fuck any of those numbers mean. And they passed around like a joint. And like usually I think like the pens, 38% weed. Yeah, normally like the pens are like I'll usually take like puffs off of a pen, and after doing like 7 or 8, I get like fairly high. Like pretty high, like 7 or 8 will get me like pretty high. I don't know what that means, but they passed around a joint, and usually it's harder for me to get higher on joints because like usually it's harder to smoke a joint than it is to smoke a pen. But like they're passing around, it's like, oh yeah, dude, 38% fucking THC, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I don't like nice buzz or whatever meme. And I got the joint or whatever, and I was like, okay, well I'm gonna be doing business and shit, so like I'm gonna chill. So I just took I just did like 2 puffs. Like 2 like Destiny puffs, like that, just 2 of those, not like huge master tier fucking puffs. And I passed it around, and then like 15 minutes later, I can't even believe how other dimension high I got. It was like the Scooby-Doo shit where like you move your head and like everything is like, ooh, oh my god, it was insane. I melted in that fucking chair, and I had to tell Raj, I was like, dude, don't let me fucking answer any questions or say anything. I am so fucking high right now. And for like the next like hour, oh my god, dude, I gotta get some of that shit. I don't even know how it was possible. Off of 2 baby puffs, I was like fucking blazed so hard out of my mind. I couldn't do anything. Oh my god. Holy shit. I couldn't believe it. I gotta get that shit. But yeah, like, holy fuck. It was the most intense, insane fucking weed I've ever fucking had in my entire life. Oh my god. Apparently they're making like a cannabis ranch or some shit out there, so. Will you get high on streaming? Apparently we're not allowed to smoke in our fucking apartments, so. Debate Hassan high? I can't, dude, I can't. When I'm high, my brain goes to shit. People always are like, they have like, people always have like they say they have like stoner thoughts or whatever. Not me, dude. Remember when I tried to debate Bunny when I like smoked like a little bit? I got, oh shit, I wonder if this was the shit. The toad? I don't know what the fuck it is we smoked. Oh, because it was in these fucking jars or whatever. I don't know if this is the shit we smoked or not, but like, dude, oh my god, this shit was so fucking crazy. Holy shit. I tried to debate Bad Bunny high, but like I couldn't do it. After like a few sentences, I was like, I can't. The problem is that like I can't, like, if I start talking, I'll lose myself at the end of a sentence. I won't remember like where the sentence started, and then I'll be like, and then I'll just be totally lost. You know, like holy fuck. The most profound thing I've ever said when I was smoking was somebody was with me, and I said, what did I say? What was my profound stoner thought? I said that when I smoke a lot, it feels like it's taking a long time for the highness to go away. So it kind of feels like smoking gives you a time erection. That was my most profound stoner thought. There you go. You smoke more, that happens less. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I want to be like smoking all the fucking time though.
Okay.
To like do anything. Okay. Okay, listen. I'm trying to be so nice. Why can't you just stop? Why can't you just stop? Please. Stop. We're not doing the hose mad meme here, okay? You guys are too toxic. You haven't earned it yet. Oh, I'm not really sure how I feel right now about the, I'm not really sure how I feel about the lefty shooter from the Dayton shit. What I'm trying to think of is, let's say that a conservative were to go on a shooting spree and he kills his family and his friends, and let's say we go into his Twitter account and we find out that there's a whole bunch of like alt-right shit and stuff that he retweeted. Would we say that the violent rhetoric that this guy was embracing caused him to kill his friends and family? I feel like however you guys want to say it, yes or no, I feel like everybody would be saying like, oh yeah, well look, I mean, conservatives cause people to murder people like that. I feel like that 100% would be happening. If you guys are saying no in chat, you're lying to yourselves. I'm almost positive that people would reach to that they would say like, oh yeah, 100% this guy, you know, the violent rhetoric, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were doing that with the El Paso guy. Wait, I thought the El Paso guy was specifically released like a manifesto and shit saying he was going to go kill Hispanics. Do we know anything about why this guy killed his friends and family? This didn't sound politically related. It sounded like the guy was just like triggered at his family or some shit. Because he killed didn't he kill like his brother and his girlfriend and his brother and his brother's girlfriend or something like. So yeah, I don't know. Damn, dude. You know what's gonna be real sweats to me is one of these fucking political shooters is gonna like do some shit and people are gonna link his Twitter account and I'm gonna click it on stream and it's gonna be like follows you. I'll be like, oh shit. It's gonna happen one of these days. If it hasn't already, I'm not even sure. Yeah, the guy did follow Pokemon. Can't the problem of college being unaffordable aside from base costs be solved by subsidizing housing like in Scandinavia? The problem is that like it seems like there are actually some rules about economics that do have to be followed. Like, you can't give everybody a ton of fucking free shit. It seems like you do have to find ways to provide these things. Like, so, like, I'm so glad I went to Sweden. I learned, like, so many interesting things I wouldn't have known. So, like, on Sweden, when you come of age, one of the things that you do that's, like, I guess it's, like, kind of like a rite of passage in Sweden, or it's something when everybody turns 18 or whatever, is you walk down to some bullshit office and you sign up to get, like, on the list to get, like, an apartment assigned to you or some shit. It's like, a contract for you to, like, rent an apartment when you turn 18. These lists, it's, like, is there a Swedish person in here? It's, like, 15 to 20 years to get one of these. Like, it's an insanely long wait. Someone in chat said 8 to 9 years. Okay, I've heard people in Sweden tell me it's like 15 to 20. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's less than that. Maybe they were exaggerating. Someone said same thing in the Netherlands. It's like 10 years. 12-year average where I'm from in a medium population area in Stockholm. Okay, maybe they exaggerated a little bit, but yeah, like that's a long ass fucking time to wait, you know? My parents signed me up for one of those when I was like 10 years old and I still couldn't get an apartment when I was 20. Yeah. I didn't know about this shit in Sweden. Yeah, it was interesting. But I had a 5 to 6 year queue and I got one in a 100,000 population town. Do they get the apartment for free after that? I don't think they get the apartment for free. They just get the right to live there and then they pay for it. Right? Where are my Swedish bros in chat? You don't get the apartment for free. You just get like the right to live there. Like, but what are they signing up for? They're signing up for like the space. Can't they rent anywhere? So I think about half the properties in Sweden for apartments, at least in Stockholm, are co-ops. So if you want to like rent, you can't like go rent units. You have to actually like buy in. You've got to like buy a share of the co-op. So you have to take out like a loan at a bank at a variable rate mortgage, and then you have to go and buy into like the co-op in order to, I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about it. Listening to Melina's dad talk about it, I was like, damn, what if I just want to fucking rent a place? Like, I don't want to fucking buy in. I don't want to buy shares of the fucking organization that owns my fucking apartment building. I just want to fucking rent from somebody. Fuck all that shit, dude. That sounds crazy. What you're talking about is called cooperator. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it is. But, yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's very, like, I see the pros and the cons to it. Like, he says that, like, when you buy shares of your apartment, like, you get to vote with the board for, like, improvements to make on your units and shit and all that. And there's, like, all of that, which is interesting. But, like, I'm getting a lot of this information from Melina's dad, so this might not be 100% accurate. But, like, one of the things he told me is, for instance, like, students have a lot of trouble moving out of their parents' house in Sweden to go find places to live because there aren't landlords to rent from. And a lot of students don't want to take a loan out for, what would it be, like 500,000 kroner or whatever, like 50,000 USD or more, to take that big loan out to buy into a co-op apartment. Like a lot of students don't have the ability to do that. Or maybe he didn't say students, maybe he said young people. We have a housing crisis because landlords only build these types of co-ops and they're really expensive for most people. Yeah, I think... Yeah, there was like some really sick... There's like some cool building in downtown Stockholm that looks sick as fuck, but apparently nobody can afford to like buy into it. And they don't rent. I don't understand why they don't rent. Man, renting is so good in so many ways, and it's like really painful that people have such financial illiteracy that they like I live in an area where this unit could cost $200,000 and there might be repairs and shit, and I don't have to deal with any of the volatility of that. I'm giving somebody else $2,600 a month where they can manage the volatility. They're scraping a premium off of that, right? I'm paying more than this is technically worth, but I don't have to deal with any of the volatility. I don't need any of the upfront capital. I don't have to worry about any of the variance. I can walk away from this at any point in time. I'm not contractually obligated to be here for 30 years. I don't have to find a buyer or seller or anything like that. Like, the renting a place has a lot of advantages to it. Like, I know that like people shit on renting and landlords and all whatever weird shit, but like renting has huge advantages attached to it that nobody recognizes. It's like insane. Yeah. I hate the rent is dead money meme. Yeah, people don't realize how much you get for renting. It's insane. Do you get along meeting your parents? Do they already just accept the life she lives? Or do they find it odd that she was with some older American guy? Her parents are both really chill, actually. And her dad really liked me. I'm a pretty parent-friendly person, I think. Like, especially compared to a lot of guys today. I very much like have my shit together. I think most people like appreciate that. Like, I have like a career, I have a life, I do well like financially. Like, I'm pretty intelligent, I'm easy to talk to. I'm not like out doing crazy shit or whatever. Like, I think most people appreciate. Yeah. I'm jerking myself a little bit, but. Honestly speaking, do they care about the age gap between you two? I don't think they do. It's hard for me sometimes. I don't know if I like fetishize like people my age, but sometimes it's like really nice. I don't know. It's really difficult to deal with younger people a lot all the time. And I kind of like, wow, Kiboga, thanks for the raid, buddy. I still feel that sometimes. Like, I would consider like Melina as like pretty mature, especially like she travels a lot. And she even has trouble getting along with other 20-year-olds. But like a 20-year-old is still like definitely a 20-year-old. And like there are times where like, I'm not, to be clear, I'm not talking shit about her. Like, I love her a lot, and she's really cool, and I really enjoy the time I spend with her. But, like, I noticed that there are, like, some things that she still, like, hasn't necessarily decided, like, in her life. Whereas, like, for me, like, I know what I want at all times. Like, I know what I want, and I'm very driven to get what I want. Like, if there's something I need or something I want, like, I'm going to push in that direction. Like, that's it. Whereas, like, for her, like, she doesn't necessarily know where she wants to live all the time or what she necessarily wants to do in the future. And it's, like... It's very hard for me to relate to these things. Like, figure it out, dude. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I figured this shit out like 5 or 10 years ago. Like, I don't have any, I can't really relate to these struggles. You know, like, yeah. Okay. How do you stay driven and resilient? You will hit plan. I don't know what it is. I wish I could like put it into words. One thing that I noticed that like, here's like a piece of advice that I try to give to people that seems like very unintuitive to most people. Especially in times of your life where things are stressful or there's a lot of stuff that's like going wrong, if you can just start doing stuff, it is so good. If you ever have like something, like, I don't know, like, fuck, I wish I could explain this better. One thing that I notice that people tend to do is like, okay, like, let's say this is my life, okay? I can make a decision here that will either put me down this path or this path. If I take this path, I've got another decision here, and then we can either go here, here, or here. Up here, if we do this path, we might have to split off here or here, right? Here's one thing, okay? Don't worry about every possible thing that can happen all the time. Me and Alina run into this conversation a lot where she'll be like, oh, like, you know, like, I'm really worried about, like, what are we going to do, like, if this comes up here? Like, I don't know what's going to... It's like, dude, don't worry about that. Like, figure out what decision you're going to make here. Like, we'll worry about this thing, okay? We'll solve this problem. And then when we get to the next thing, we'll consider the options there, and then we'll solve that problem there. If you have the ability to look ahead and think of like, what will I do here? That's good, but you don't want to stress about every potential problem at every point in your life. It paralyzes the fuck out of you. You can never move forward with any decision if you are letting yourself be weighed down by the potential negative outcome of decisions before you that are like mutually exclusive, right? Like, could I have a kid or could I not have a kid? I'm gonna both simultaneously stress out about where I wanna send my kid to school and what people are gonna say about me if I'm 30 and I'm still childless. Like, you can't stress out about both of these things at the same time. Don't do it. Like, make one decision and then figure out what you wanna stress over. Don't be worried about every single thing before you all the time. Like, that's so bad. You can't, like, you fuck yourself like so hard doing that. Like, yeah, like a lot of people will do that. Like, it drives me crazy because I'm always like that. Listen, hold on, stop, okay? We have one decision ahead of us, okay? Let's make this decision. And then depending where we go from there, we'll look at the next decision. It's always good to look at all the branching paths. Like, if we do this, will that happen? If we do this, will this happen? We can look at those, but don't worry about those. Don't stress about all of those. We're not even there yet because you're going to waste time stressing over things that are never going to happen, right? It fucks your life so hard. That's one problem that I notice a lot of people doing. And then here's another problem, okay? I'm trying to think if I can use like a real life example for this. Okay, when I was in Sweden, here are all of the kind of problems that I'm juggling, right? Me and Melina got into a fight over some really dumb shit. Me and Hassan are getting into huge fights. My community and Hassan's are like violently splitting. I'm losing hundreds of subscribers because I'm traveling a lot. I'm spending an uncomfortable amount of money because as I'm traveling, it costs a lot of money to do it. I'm not streaming as much, so I'm generating less money. I'm missing on a couple sponsor deals because I'm not in the USA to take advantage of them. I'm reforming my business because I had to cancel it in Nebraska and move it to California. I'm also considering whether or not I should move to Austin or stay in California. So I've been talking to 2 different financial managers / business planners to see what's the most tax advantaged thing to do. And I think there are a couple other concerns, but these are like the things that, like, these things are all things that are constantly weighing on my mind at any particular point in time. And while I'm doing all of this, I have to keep working and moving forward, right? Because like for the kind of life that I live, like if I stop at any point in time and I start like stressing, and then I mean, I guess like I'll add this, it's not a big thing, but like on top of all of this, I'm constantly being poked and prodded and people are attempting to destroy me on like social media. Oh, and I had the big stress hanging over me that the FBI called me and they said that when I got back into Nebraska, they needed to talk to me immediately and they wouldn't tell me what it was about. So, and I'm sure there's even more, right? If I'm also talking to my immigration lawyer to try to get all the necessary information together for me and Melina to do the marriage stuff. I'm sure there's other stuff, right? There's always stuff going on, right? There's like a million different things going on at any particular point in my life. But like, if you stop at any point in time, for me, right? If I stop at any point in time and I just start thinking about like every horrible fucking thing, and it's like, oh God, what am I gonna do, right? You never make any fucking decision ever. Like you're always gonna get fucked. Like you can never move forward. But like when you have like a whole bunch of problems, like the best thing to do is just like, okay, I woke up today. What do I need to do? I have to stream for 2 hours. I know I have to do that. And then I'll gather what I can for like the Melina visa shit. I'll schedule the appointments. Just start doing stuff. Like if you just start doing stuff, like that's all you can do. Like there's all these things that you can always be stressing about, but if you just start doing stuff, it's so much better. It sounds like a 3-head or 4-head thing. Like just do stuff, 4-head, but people will get themselves like so paralyzed in like all the bad stuff and all the potential, and they don't even know where to do it. They don't know where to start. It's like walking into like a really messy room and you don't even know where to start cleaning. And the best thing to do is just start somewhere. Just start picking up something somewhere. Go to a corner of the room and just start cleaning it. Pick up some books, put them on a bookshelf. Even if the bookshelf isn't clean, just put them there so they're in the right spot. Make your bed, right? Take all the shit off your bed, push it on the floor. Who cares? Make your bed clean, right? And after you do that, when you step back, if you look at your room, okay, well now you have, your bed is made, which is good, and one corner of the room is clean, which is good. Okay, we've got something done. That's good. We see progress, right? Okay, well pick something else and just work on it. Like, okay, well maybe organize your bookshelf. Okay, that's done. Push everything else off onto the floor. Who the fuck cares where it goes? Now your bookshelf is clean, right? Maybe now we want to clean the floor, right? Okay, just pick stuff up. Even if you throw some stuff onto a shelf, someplace you haven't cleaned already, right? But as long as you're like moving forward, eventually, when you're 50% of the way through, well now it's like, okay, I have all this bad shit, but I've done everything I can for this stuff. And now I have like this few more things I can do.
but I've made progress. It feels like I have accomplished something, even though there are all of these things weighing over me. Like, at least we got some work done because we didn't just sit down and stress over every possible thing. Like, at least we did something. And it's like, it's always possible to be working on or doing something. You can always make some progress. Just don't let yourself get bogged down in this like paralysis where you're analyzing everything so much and you're worrying about the negative potentials of decisions that aren't even before you yet, that you're like screwing yourself out of getting anything done. Yeah, sorry. But like my life over the past like couple months, I would say has been like, I would say like probably more stressful than the average person that I have. There's like a lot of shit that weighs on me like pretty constantly, but like typically like the way that I usually approach things is just like, okay, what can I do today? Right? Well, I can't do anything about this. I can't do anything about that. And I can't do anything about that. So fuck that. I'm not going to worry about it. Right? We'll worry about that tomorrow. I write it down. I've got my Google Keep where I write down my medium, long-term and short-term shit that I can worry about. And what can I do today? I can do this, I can stream, I can read my subreddit, I can, I can do this thing, and I can do these emails, and that's it. And we just do what we can every day, and the next day comes, and then you do what you can that day, and that's it, Yeah, sorry. It's really hard for me, and this is like a problem that I get into with some people. It's really hard for me sometimes when I deal with some people, and it feels like they're getting bogged down with the potential stressors of every possible decision. And it's like, oh my God, like chill, like just chill, like calm down. Like we can get through it. I had a friend that I hung out with like 2 months ago, and when they were coming into town and they drove and they got into a car accident in the parking garage, and they were like, I would say like pretty upset about it, maybe like more upset, like pretty upset about it, understandably so, right? And it's like, okay, like walk over, figure out what's up. Like, okay, are you hurt? Nope, you're not. Okay, call the insurance company. Pick up the phone, call the insurance company. Okay, you did that. Make an appointment. You have car insurance, right? Make the appointment. Okay, you did it. All right, you've made the appointment. You're not injured. Your car is parked. Everything's fine. Let it go. In 2 weeks, this will all be like a funny fucking meme. You've got your appointment. Your insurance will take care of it. You pay for it. It's done. Just fucking walk away from it. Don't let every single possible negative thing in life stress you out at all points in time. Just don't do that. Don't do it, okay? Forehead. Focusing on one thing at a time makes things so much easier to get done. Yeah. What would this map look like if it was years ago and you were still playing StarCraft 2 professionally? I mean, man, it really depends. Rachel and Nathan were huge stresses in my life. I was trying to balance like the difference between like owned and Twitch. That was like a huge thing that weighed on me at one point. Figuring out where to live, that was crazy. I lived with my ex-wife for a year. I was moving around with crazy people in Nebraska. Figuring out what I was doing with like StarCraft 2 teams was like a huge thing. Like, do I join Root? Every team I joined, I never took a salary because I just wanted to help people because I was super naive. Managing like my public image was very difficult at the time. I was in like Mitch mode where I wanted to be like super real and raw and call people racial slurs and shit. The money thing was like really challenging. Own stiffed me for $20,000, and back then that was a lot of money to me. I didn't know like how to do. I was doing my tax. Well, the first year I tried to do my taxes, I went to H&R Block, and they handed me like a huge bill that I didn't know how to undo until later. I don't know. My relationship stuff personally was a fucking disaster because I was both a huge piece of shit and I had no idea what I wanted, and I had like multiple people that were like in and out of my life that was like between. Oh God, that was like a huge fuck up. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's always like the JonTron shit stressed the fuck out of you, didn't? For one night it was pretty stressful, mainly because I couldn't sleep. My phone kept going up because people were trying to hack my accounts. That was pretty stressful. What do you think your turning point was? Seems like you're on the upswing lately. I mean, I always go through upswings or downswings or upswings. Like sometimes what people interpret as downswings aren't really downswings at all. So for instance, after I got banned from LSF, like a lot of people were saying like, oh, like look at Destiny's viewership, it's falling off hardcore, like he's done streaming, but not really. I just felt like playing League for a couple months. Like that's all that was. Like that's why my viewership was done. And now recently I felt like doing like political stuff. Like a lot of people always want to throw like my twinge at me or like, look, like your stream is dying. And it's like, no, it's probably not dying. I'm probably just playing a lot of League, But like we can always like point out like, oh look, like, well, looks like I've been doing politics recently because all of my viewership on like every fucking time horizon is actually like pretty far up. So it's like, but I mean like I'm sure like in a month or two if I feel like grinding like League again, well, I'll probably lose a lot of viewers again because that's just how it goes, one thing that like tomorrow is always another day, and people's memories are real short. That's another thing that I notice with like a lot of streamers. Is streamers will get like super stressed about like some drama that comes up, you know, like, oh no, like fuck, this thing's gonna fuck me forever. It's like, it's not gonna fuck you forever, dude. Like, figure out what you want and just start slowly working towards it. And, you know, in a couple weeks, people forget their shit. They always do. Public people always forget their shit. It's never the end of the world when you're a streamer. People forget shit and they move on all the fucking time. Just don't let it bother you. And there's always going to be like there's always like some part of your soul that's irrevocably destroyed, depending on like the type of drama that people hold on to, right? People will like take parts of you and they'll use it against you forever, but you just got to carry it, you know? People are always going to make fun of me for being a pedophile or for having Nathan or for
Destiny,
whatever. But I mean, like,
edition,
it's just, fuck, it is what it is.
Meme, Pepe.
Destiny, what you've been saying is basically, I don't stress about X because I have life experience with X, and I don't stress about X. This isn't true for most of the people you're currently talking to. Your advice, Salvo, got to gain experience to not be stressed. I mean, it's not so much that. It's just that, like, I mean, like, obviously, I guess it helps because now I'm, like, older and I have more experience. But just, like, man, I don't know what to say. I think I get it from my dad, actually. My dad was, like, so fucking bad with money and so bad with managing his finances, but like he would do shit. Like, my dad would go out and work like a fucking horse. Now, he could have like worked a lot less if he wasn't so financially stupid, but like he worked like a motherfucker. And I think I picked that up. I think I picked that habit up too from him, right? Because when I was doing that carpet cleaning shit, I was working like, fuck, dude, like fucking 80 hours a week. Like, it was insane because like you had to. Like, there's just no other option, right? I could sit here and I could be stressed about the fact that, you know, my ex-girlfriend that I fucking hate and is abusive towards me is pregnant, or that I'm losing my house, or that I have no future ahead of me because my education failed because I quit my school to save a job that I ended up getting fired from, so I can't even use it as work experience. Like, you can like get like every little thing can stress you out at like all points of your life, but it's like, well, what do I have to do now, right? Well, I have to fucking work, right? Yeah, I don't know. What is this dual command pod thing? What are we doing? Destiny, if you're going through hell, keep moving forward. Yeah, I guess until you either get out of it or you die, right? Yeah. That analogy of your room being messy and not knowing where to start resonates so much. Do you have any similar analogy? I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure we thought hard enough. I find like a lot of times like people will phrase things where it's like, hey, we have to do this thing. And people will say like, well, what if that thing fails? Or what if we can't figure this out?
A lot of people.
Wait, hold on. Or sorry. Or like, what if something goes wrong? Or what if the next decision is bad? And it's like, well, listen, okay? Like, don't think of it that way. You're already sabotaging yourself before you start. Like, we'll just do this one thing. If it doesn't work, well, then we'll deal with it when it doesn't work. Or if we do this and then the next thing fucks us, well, we'll deal with that thing when we get to the next thing. Or if we do that, just the goal is to minimize the amount of shit that you stress over. It's possible that if we do option A, by the time we get to Z, things are actually totally fucked. But hey, if it gets totally fucked at Z, well, let's think about it at Z. We'll stress about it then. Don't stress about it the whole way there, because you might have been able to succeed, but then you fucked yourself, like, thinking, you know, things over too much the entire time, and then you ended up, like, fucking yourself over, right? Like, don't do that. A lot of people, especially those in the age range of your average Twitch viewer, are afraid of being uncomfortable. You're a good guy, buddy. I love you. Yeah, being uncomfortable is really good. You should challenge yourself. Don't let yourself get too comfortable. This is like, I think like a lot of the kind of like mentalities that I develop. This is why, like, on one hand, like, oh no, like I got left alone at an early age and it was so sad and blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, like it's easy to kind of like say that and cry about that. But I really do think that I picked up like a lot of like pretty good habits because I was so independent from an early age, right? Like, what is Denim's doing? Did she eject her Kerbal? What is she doing? When I was 16, I was like pretty much on my own. So it's like, well, do you want to go to college? I do. Well, how do you go to college? I have to find a way to work, and I've got to find a way to fucking find a place to live. Like, if you don't do it, like, you fucking starve, right? If I don't work, I'm not gonna have any money for food, and I'm fucked. If I don't work and find a place to live, well, I guess I'm fucking living on the street, because there's no fucking way I'm going to Florida to live with my parents. Fuck that. It's like, you kind of like, I guess like maybe if you get like forced into a corner, like you have to do things, like, well, we have to work, we have to do this, you have to do it. I don't know, just one problem at a time. Just fucking forward motion, my dudes. I noticed that, I don't know if it's a young or old person thing, because honestly, I just don't talk to that many people. Or maybe because I mainly talk to young people, because that's the only people that are on this fucking platform. But I noticed that, like, a lot of young people that I talk to are, like, super paralyzed by, like, lots of decisions. By, like that one example that I gave earlier, like, unironically, people will, okay, should I have a kid? Yes. Should I have a kid? No. Right? Like, okay, if I have a kid, what if I fuck that kid up? If I don't have a kid, What if people make fun of me for being childless when I'm 35? And people will get stressed about both of these. They'll be stressed about both of these, even though they both can't even happen. Like, why would you let both of these things stress you out? Pick one decision and then just get stressed out about one thing. Or, you know, or people do with college too. Like, could I do this major or could I do this major? If I go into comp sci, I'm going to be miserable my whole life because I hate computers. And if I go into art, I'm not going to have any money. Oh God. And then they'll get upset. They'll get upset about both outcomes and they haven't even chosen one. Why are you letting everything in the future upset you when that can't even happen? That you can't even have all of these bad things happening at once. It's like you have like Schrodinger's misery, except instead of like all possible states of misery at one point in time are being considered in your mind. And it's like just like open the box and pick one. Just stress about one thing. Like, don't do this. You're fucking yourself so hard. Why would you do this at all points in time? It's really upsetting trying to help someone and they're constantly doing this shit. Yeah. What's the solution then? The solution is that at any given point in time, you have things you can do that are within your control. This is where like the Jordan Peterson like clean your room thing comes from, right? And I think there's a military guy. Actually, fucking let's see if we can find this. I actually really like this speech. Fuck, I'm not gonna be able to find it. Does anybody have? There's like a guy that like makes a speech. Oh, it's this guy.
If you want to change the world,
God, can I find this without like the dramatic music?
let's start.
This is a really good speech. It doesn't need dramatic music to be a good speech. Okay, well, we'll listen with the dramatic.
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made.
You've done one thing. Okay, I don't remember the rest of the speech. Okay, fuck, this music is too much, okay? I don't remember what his main point is, but like, here's like the main takeaway that I get from stuff like this, okay? Life is chaotic as fuck. There are so many things at any given point that are completely outside of your control. You can't control how the guy next to you is going to drive. You can't control whether or not your girlfriend is going to dump you. You can't control whether or not your parents are going to get cancer or Alzheimer's. You can't control, at any given point in time, there are so many things outside of your control, okay? Now, you can stress about all of those things and let people, like, let that weigh on you, like, constantly and let it destroy you because you'll be crushed under the weight of all of these possibilities if you try to consider all of them at any point in time. But there are some things that you do have control over, right? There are some things that you can control, right? Making your bed is one of those things. You can control that. You can, you can work a job and make some money. You can, there are these little things in life that you can have control over. Don't let the things that stress you out, that make you feel like everything is out of control, let you lose control of the things that you actually do have control over. Don't let that happen, right? That's all I'm saying, I guess, is, yeah.
It's because people let their fear and their obsession over controlling every single thing under the sun run their life instead of just deciding for themselves and accepting the outcome for head.
Oh, sure, yeah, I noticed that too, yeah. One of the things of like being afraid to fail is like another thing that I noticed. Like this is one of the reasons why like I like leadership roles. One of the reasons why I like leadership roles in anything, and whether it's a video game, whether playing League or whatever, I like leadership roles because if something fails, I'm okay with that. If I make a decision and it's the wrong call and we end up losing a team fight or we lose the game or I lose some money or whatever, I'm okay with that because somebody needs to make a decision. And if it's good, if it succeeds, well, I'm really happy with that too because I was in charge of that decision. But a lot of people are really scared. I noticed that a lot of people are scared to take on leadership roles because they don't want the weight of their failure to weigh on everyone else or not weigh on everyone else, but they don't want to be responsible for the failure of the group, right? Just make a decision. Sometimes you're going to make the wrong decision. No one makes every right decision, okay? Yeah, you can either go 0-0 or 2-7, okay? Leading the way to run it down mid, yeah. Is there a reason it seems your mood is noticeably improved lately? I don't think it's necessarily noticeably improved. I think I was just streaming a lot less in Sweden, and I had a lot of stressors going on in Sweden. Like, I've moved through a lot of these that I've kind of fixed, and I don't have much like before me right now. I don't have very many like variables ahead of me at the moment. Like, I've handled the Hassan stuff. I kind of see the direction all of that's headed. I talked to the FBI. Nothing bad came from that. I know the direction I need to go with Melina's shit. I know that I'm going to be streaming all month this month. I know that, yeah, for the most part, like, I have, like, what is she trying to do? Just orbit forever? You're not going home, dude. But yeah, like, I don't think I have, like, any things, in front of me that, like, I don't think there are any potential, like, hugely bad outcomes in front of me. What's an example where you embraced discomfort and anxiety or social anxiety? I don't think I normally get, like, social anxiety. Why? Luna, why is she doing this? What? It's like she can't help herself. What about when you had that bad carpenter job? Did you have those kinds of worries? Honestly, I don't know if being poor is like stressful in the same way that it is now. I don't really know if being poor was stressful so much as it was just like depressing and soul destroying. Like, it's like, it's like the difference between feeling like I have to run an obstacle course, and if I succeed, then I get like $1,000, and if I fail, I like get my finger chopped off. That's like my level. That's what I deal with now. Like, those are the kinds of stress I deal. So I got to keep running, right? But like being like really poor and financially destitute is like I'm gonna die in 6 months and I can't do anything about it. So we just fucking chug on, and my life is fucking miserable, and fuck it. Like, it's like it's a different kind of feeling, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, because like when you're poor, you don't really have as many options to get stressed out about. Like, it's not like I'm thinking of like, how should I structure my business as a carpet cleaner? It's more just like, oh, like my tire pop today, that's $150. I can't afford this. Like, I'm completely and utterly fucked. Like, I don't know how. It's a different type of feeling, I guess. I've said this before, and it's like, I've said this before, and I say this a lot. I'm not trying to like gatekeep like being poor, but like the worst part for me always about being poor was the idea that there's no escape. Like a lot of people do, like, I say this a lot, like people do like the meme where it's like, oh, live like you're really poor for 1 month. And it's like, oh, that's really cute. But the thing that sucks about being like super poor isn't that it's for 1 month. It's that this is going to be the rest of your life, and it's only going to get worse from here. like every single day you live when you're poor could potentially be the worst day of your life, because the next day could just be even worse. Because it's another day you're getting older. It's another day, like when you look back, man, especially if you're stuck in like the same area, dude, driving around in my little fucking carpet cleaner van, and I would drive by my high school, and I would look like, oh, like, hey, that's where I waited for my dad until like 7 o'clock every night, where I thought like, oh man, like when I get out of here and I get older, I'm either going to be a famous musician or like a big computer guy and blah, blah, blah. And here I am at fucking 21 years old, driving around my shitty carpet cleaner van with no college education, and I'm never going back to school, and I'm never going to fucking get a real job. And I'm not, right? Like, that kind of like permanently fucked mentality is so much worse. Oh my God, it is so painful. I think that being poor would be easier if you would just leave where you came from, because visiting old areas when you're like so fucked, oh God, and looking back at like, what was it like? That was the closest I ever came to killing myself. I don't think I ever would, because I'm too narcissistic for it. But it was, I had to do some carpet cleaning job at some house, and oh God, and it was one of those, it was one of these like fall days. It was one of these like super, I don't know if I'd say nostalgic fall days, but there's like, at least in the Midwest, there's like this feeling when fall is there. You have like all of these leaves on the ground that make these noises when you walk through them. And there's like, you see these like super colorful leaves that are like blowing in the wind, and like the sun is setting, and everything is so beautiful, and everything is so nice. And I had this like super distinct feeling. And it's like the other thing I remember here was when I was at my girlfriend's high school, and I was hanging around outside, and I was talking to all of their friends, and we were all just like shooting the shit or whatever. And when you're 17 and 18, 18, like the whole world is in front of you and you can do anything in your life, and you're thinking about like, where am I going to go to college? What kind of life am I going to live? What kind of wife am I going to have? What kind of kids am I going to do? What kind of awesome things I'm going to do? And then being 21 and rolling up my fucking hoses in my shitty carpet cleaning van where I just spent 5 hours at a job site that I'm probably going to get paid about $45 for. I was like, what in the fuck happened? I have no education. I'm never going to be able to afford to go back to school. I have $30,000 in student loan debt. I have a kid on the way with a girl that we're abusive towards. It's like, holy shit. It is such a horrible fucking feeling. Oh my God, dude. It's really, 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 really hard to deal with. It's like that lack of future. It's like I'm 21 rolling up my hoses now, and I'm probably going to be doing something similar when I'm 35 years old. And like everything in my life is just going to get measurably worse. And there's no possible way that anything is ever going to get better in my life because there's no recourse or no way out of any of this. Yikes. Anyway, there's your depressing meme of the day. Like, yeah, holy fuck, it's so horrible. How do you reconcile acknowledging that poverty is suicidally depressing with your recent shit right-wing takes on Twitter? Pepe, no ban, this is a meme. Nice, yeah. I don't give right-wing takes, but like this is like another thing that kind of like informs me of like how like my feelings about poor people and my feelings about like policy in the United States. Like this is why like when I look at policy, if I look at somebody like Nancy Pelosi or I look at somebody like, you know, Hillary Clinton, it's like, okay, well, how can we help like people in the United States like right now? Like I don't think like a socialist revolution is gonna like happen that's gonna like change all of these people's lives. I don't think that like some college kid debating on fucking Twitter about how Marx knew everything, like I don't think that's gonna happen. Like we need things like higher minimum wage. We need things like free healthcare. Okay, we need like none of the people that I don't know, like that's just not to like make it political, I guess, but when I was poor, there was a soul-crushing self-doubting that hung over me like a cloud, and I feel like a lot of people just adapt to living that way instead of trying to break out of it. The key is accepting a lot of discomfort for bits of progress. Well, the problem is that like depending on your life situation, when you get really poor, there really is like there can be like no way out of it, like, or there are ways out of it. But it's a catch-22 because if you knew how to get out of it, and if you really were smart enough and knew the tool, not smart enough, but if you had the tools to get out of it, you probably wouldn't have gotten out of it, or you probably wouldn't have gotten there in the first place, right? You know? Did you ever consider the military during those tough times? And it can be a reset button for life. Yeah, when I was 18 or 19, I wanted to join the Air Force, but I didn't weigh enough. I was, when I was 18 or 19, I think I weighed, what did I say? I think it was 105 pounds, and I was like 5'7". And you had to weigh at least 110 or 115. Another huge benefit is good friends, having someone you can talk to about things deeply troubling you. Yeah, that's probably good too. I've never been a social person. I've always been like a loner, so I don't know. Do you get anxiety or nervous about public speaking at all? I don't think so. I mean, maybe as much as like a normal person that would, but not normal, I guess, because some people are really afraid of it. I don't know. When you were broke and had a kid to support, you never asked your parents for help at all? My parents have never been in a position to help me. No, never. I started helping them, I guess, now that I stream. Sometimes I'll make a mortgage payment for them or whatever. But they've just never, I've never, since I was 16, I never got any financial help from my parents at all. How were you able to go to private school growing up? Were your parents rich? My parents initially took out loans and student aid to do it. I also did something called a work study. So basically after school would get out at 2:30 and I would work until 5 o'clock every night as a janitor. And then sometimes I would come in on Saturdays and Sundays and work for 8 hours as a janitor. And that let you pay off your student loan, your tuition. Yeah. But my parents still couldn't. But yeah, the worst thing I had, the shittiest feeling was for my AP psychology class. I got pulled out of the test because the dean showed up and my parents didn't pay the $75 for my AP test. That sucked. Do you think that a universal social security net would...
Destiny, do you think that a universal social security net, UBI or jobs guarantee, will be a necessity in the near future? Love you, buddy.
Maybe. I don't know, it's hard to say.
If you didn't have the ability to stream as a living, would there have been any other reasonable way to get out of poverty?
I don't know, it didn't feel like it.
Also, what are your AP scores?
I don't remember. I think they were all 4s or 5s. The AP tests were really generous. Oh my God. Like, fuck, I don't want to make this up, but on like some of those calc AP exams, couldn't you literally get like a 70% and still get like a 4? Am I making this up? It felt like they were really, really easy to get 4s and 5s on. It was insane. You can get a 5 with a 7 or something? Yeah, I was shocked. Like the final exams in the class were always harder than the AP exams. But I mean, I went to like a prep school, like a private prep school, so probably, you know, like they bust your balls or whatever. I was really, really lucky. Everything else is, I think I might have gotten a 4. Did I get a 4 or 5 on my AP music theory exam? I don't remember. I might have gotten a 4 on that one. Stu's in chat. We did AP theory together, right? I see Stu in Twitch chat. I don't remember if I got a 4 or 5 on mine. Do you remember? I don't know if he's listening right now or not. That's a thing. Yeah, I think it was AP Music 3, 1 and 2. They split it between oral skills. Yeah, I got a 5 on the written because the written was super easy. But I think I got a 4 on the listening, like the transcription part. I think I got a 4 on it, and I think it averaged out to a 4. Did you ever stress over girls in high school or college? No. I went to an all-boys high school, and to be honest, I actually can't imagine doing high school with girls. Holy shit. I remember going from grade school to high school. It seemed like going to like an all-boys school was the worst thing in the world. Like, oh God, like all boys, I'm going to turn gay or some dumb shit. But oh my God, after going to an all-boys high school, I don't know how people can do school and have girls there. I would fucking kill myself. I don't know. It seems like it would be so fucking hard. I don't know how people do it. Holy shit. You still fucked around in high school, didn't you? I only had one girl in all of high school, and that was my girlfriend, my wife, or that I actually had sex with, yeah. Remember that you have an extremely abnormal libido? I don't think I was like super fucking sex crazed when I was in high school. Destiny explain? I don't know, just like the stresses of like growing older, like going through puberty, I mean, and everything, and then like trying to figure out school and your place in life and your place in the world and fighting with parents and all of that shit, and then also dealing with girls, like, I don't know, it just seems like a lot to deal with.
How did you end up cleaning carpets? Did you used to supervise in a restaurant, but got fucking fired for the most ridiculous bullshit?
Nice. I got fired because I made an enemy out of my manager, which is really fucking stupid. But yeah, I started cleaning carpets after because my uncle suggested the job. I went to an all-boys school. It focused my perception of women and how to interact with them. Was it similar at your high school? I mean, like, we still interacted a lot with the other all-girls high school. I guess, like, it really helped. Dude, I don't know how I got into so many weird fucking situations growing up. I think when I was 16-ish, my dad moved to Florida to join my mom. So I lived with my grandma in, like, it's called Tregarian Senior Residences. It was like an apartment. It was like an apartment complex for senior citizens. So I lived with my grandma there, who was addicted to drugs and had dementia. Some crazy, dumb fucking shit. I didn't have a car, though, so I had no way to, like, get to school. So I had to, like, try to get, like, my grandma's old friends to drive me to school at, like, fucking 4 or 5 a.m. Some crazy, stupid shit. And eventually I got to a point to where... Stu is actually in chat, but he's AFK. He's the Abraxas guy in Twitch chat. He's one of my mods. but Stu, the guy actually in chat, somehow recommended me to a friend of his, Kia, and she, I don't know how, but like we talked on AIM for a little bit, AOL Instant Messenger, and she agreed to give me rides home every day because she lived in like kind of close-ish to me, close-ish. And so she agreed to give me rides to and from school every day because our schools were maybe like 5 or 10 minutes away from each other. And so, yeah, she was like my ride to school, I think for maybe a year. Is that the girl you almost fucked? Dude, I was such a beta person. I had no idea. Yeah, I think we made out for like 6 months. This is why I really like kissing. And I think I'm a good kisser. But like we made out for like 6 months. Like every day after school in her car, we made out. She also had a boyfriend too, but I guess she didn't care. Kurt, I remember that. We would argue so much. Oh my God. One of the things I miss about private school is there's so many smart girls. My ex-wife was super smart. I loved her, dude. If I was talking some fucking dumbass bullshit, man, you think I'm arrogant now? You should have met me in fucking high school. I was so fucking arrogant. But my ex-wife would call me out of my shit so much. Like, what the fuck? Do you really know what you're talking about? Like, do you really think that's real? Like, that's some bullshit. I remember the Kia girl. The Kia girl got me into reading some of Kurt Vonnegut's books. So, like, Slaughterhouse-Five or Cat's Cradle and shit. And we would... Somehow she was a big Kurt Vonnegut and Ayn Rand fan, but she was also hugely Catholic. So it was really weird. So like I read Anthem, and then I think I read the one with that one girl, the Atlas Shrugged book, and then I read and then the 2 Vonnegut books. And somehow she was Catholic, and I'm like, dude, like there's no way. How can you be Catholic and read these books and think this? Like these are like atheists as fuck. And we would like argue so much about like oh my god, it was so crazy. I don't know how. Fuck yeah, but in private school, girls were so smart, like, or at least in that friend group, they were all like really smart. Fuck, it's really hard to find. Yeah, I don't know. What was high school like socially for you, being poor in a school with a lot of rich kids? I don't know. My home life was like really depressing. It wasn't as bad once I started living with my grandma because like the utilities weren't getting shut off. But I remember like, I'm pretty sure there was like a good period of time. There was like a 6-month period of time where like I was living off of, it was double cheeseburgers from McDonald's. I'm pretty sure the most amount of food I could get for the cheapest amount of money was a $1.99 double cheeseburger from McDonald's. I would eat that almost every night. And then it was like, it was a dice roll. Fuck, dude. The most stressful thing would be because my dad would pick me up really late from school at like 7 p.m. or some shit. And then he would drive me home and drop me off. And then he would drive back to work. And I would go home. And the most stressful thing, the most stressful part of the day was you would open the door and then you would go in the house. And sometimes I wouldn't push the first light switch because I didn't know if the lights were on. I would walk through like the dark kitchen, like, and then downstairs and then go into my bedroom. And then I would turn that light on to see if the lights were actually on or not. Because if they were off, that was going to be a boring ass fucking night. Because you didn't have any fucking cell phones and I couldn't play like any fucking games or do anything. So I would just fucking, yeah, holy shit. It was some bullshit. So I actually didn't even mind being left at school sometimes really late because coming home and the power's out, it's like, fuck, I can't fucking do anything. This is some bullshit. I stole a PSP from some guy. The Game Boy didn't have lights yet. Fuck off. There weren't Game Boys. I stole a PSP from somebody in high school. I remember, and I took that home sometimes to play. Fuck, what was it? Was it San Andreas? One of the Grand Theft Autos was on PSP. I remember I played for a while, but the water getting turned off was even worse than no lights. Yeah, water getting turned off was shit. However, we didn't run into that as much. The heater getting turned off in winter sucked, but they would never turn off the water because if they turn off the water, their pipes will freeze and then you'll be fucked. So I think in Omaha, there's a policy not to shut the water off in winter. So sometimes he'd let the bills lapse on the utilities in the winter, knowing that they wouldn't shut the water off. But it sucks when you're poor because once you get your utilities shut off, not only do you have to pay back your bill, plus you have to pay back late fees, and you have to pay back, you've got to pay a reactivation fee for them to come out and turn your shit back on. How are you able to deal with so much hate and not be depressed as fuck? I feel like with the kind of person I am, I feel like if I look to other people to like evaluate like the kind of person I am or to like judge me or value me, right? My value doesn't usually come from how other people view me. I think if it did, I think I would have offed myself a long time ago just because like some of the stuff I grew up with was, I think, a little bit depressing. And I think, I don't know, I think I would have had a really hard time dealing with it if I was like drawing value from other people. Like, oh no, like, I don't think my parents love me, or I don't think like other people love me, blah, blah, blah. I think I would have fucking been a real rough. But I've been like a pretty independent person. So like I have like a good idea of like I said, I think I have a realistic idea of like, who am I? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What am I fucking up? What am I not fucking up? And it doesn't really bother me. Like if other people think I'm being stupid, other people think I'm being dumb, I think I usually have like a decent ability to step back and evaluate like, okay, am I being a dipshit right now? Am I being an asshole? Like, okay, I understand like what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's kind of helped to keep me. Do you think strong adversity makes a better person? I mean, obviously I'm super biased, but I mean, obviously I would say that, yeah, of course. But your parents sound a lot like mine. My dad was making mid-six figures, like $400K a year as upper management for sales in a mortgage brokerage. By the time the economy collapsed, I was living in a house with the utilities being turned off for days at a time because he got so depressed and just gave him life. Yeah, that sucked. I remember it was really awkward that my dad, I don't know if I said this on stream before, I think I did. When my dad bought a house at, what was this? It was like near, I think it was off of 97th and Center. Actually not too far from the house I own now. My dad bought a house from a slumlord. So what this guy did was he rented this house out from us. And the goal was that we would pay a reduced rent as long as we agreed to renovate the house from him. So my dad would try to get my uncle to come over and renovate for free. And then this landlord guy...
Reminder that Destiny still hasn't dyed his hair for reaching his sub goal.
Nice. This guy would come over and he would like check out the house every couple months to see if like the work being done was good. And then if it wasn't, right, we would get in trouble. And eventually like the progress was so unsatisfactory that he kicked us out. He was like, oh, well, you're not doing enough, so you guys have to get the fuck out.
Started from the bottom and now I'm here. Drakestony 2019.
Yeah. But the really awkward thing was, I remember that guy. He was a multimillionaire. His first name was Jan. I know his last name, but he was Jan. But he was actually one of my 7-star customers at the casino. That was such a weird. It was so weird for me. It was a very weird moment in my life that I would watch this guy come over from like the high stakes blackjack room where this guy's betting, you know, $10,000-$20,000 a hand. He would come over and then order a sandwich from me. Maybe he'd tip me like $10 or whatever. And I was like, oh shit, like this guy that's betting $10,000 or $20,000 a hand. I remember when he evicted me and my dad from the house that we used to live in. This house is worth like $100K or whatever. It's insane. Like, it was so crazy. Yeah, holy shit. Did you confront him? No, I mean, it's part of the system. It's not his fault. Fuck it. Did you ever want to fuck with his food? No. I've never seen anybody fuck with anybody's food at McDonald's or in the casino. I've never seen that happen before. Did music help you through it, or was it something you did? I love music. Playing my keyboard has always been like a really like awesome de-stressor for me. Every time I'm done streaming, like at the end of every stream, like I usually play for like 30 minutes. It's just like, I don't know, music is like a really cool thing. I really enjoy it. If you don't mind talking about it, how did you deal with the grief after Chris died? I really don't know. This is like super unsatisfactory. I wish I had like a really good answer for you, but I just didn't have like that much grief, I guess. I remember that the day that it happened, I think I woke up at, it must have been like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. Cause I think, no, I must have woken up at like noonish. Cause I think I was doing swing shifts at the casino. And then I think, Sarah, one of Rachel's friends, called Rachel and said, hey, some guy got ran over by a fucking train, but I recognize the name. Like, is this the same Chris that we hung out with? And then Rachel told me, I was like, holy shit, he actually fucking killed himself. But like, yeah, after that, I guess like that day was pretty weird. Like, it's kind of weird, like, you log on to, like, RuneScape and shit, and I see his account, like, on my friends list. Or, like, I would go on to, I think we were using MSN then. Like, I'd log into MSN, and I see that, like, he's logged into MSN, and it must be, like, his sister on his account, because obviously he's fucking dead. Yeah, that was, like, yeah, it was very weird. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know, it happened, and... Did you disassociate? Like, you kind of just didn't have any feelings, but things were weird? I don't think I disassociated. I just think, like, yeah, it sucked, and, yeah, I don't know. Who's Chris? Chris was my best friend growing up. When we were, I feel like I've told these stories a million times. When we were around 19 or 20, or I guess, I don't know, I guess I just look it up. 20-year-old. Okay, so I guess when we were 20. All my friends growing up were like black or Mexican. Fuck, I remember the stupid fucking shirt he wore too. I never knew what the fuck the shirt was. Holy shit, that's really fucking weird to see. He lived behind me growing up when I was in my house, the very first house that we ever had, that we got foreclosed on when I was like 13. But when we were around 20, I guess when he was 20 years old, he got caught. He got caught dealing drugs to an undercover. He's tried to sell weed, and it was an undercover cop. And the way that he figured it was he was looking at like some charges in Iowa. He didn't really have a car. He was done with high school, but he didn't go to college. He still lived with his mom. He didn't really have a job. And he kind of figured that he was kind of a loser. And I guess like he was like, oh, fuck it. Like, I think I'm just going to kill myself. And I remember we talked about it for... I think we talked about it for like 3 days. It was me, him, and then another friend that he had that would like go back and forth talking to him for like 2 or 3 days about it. And I remember at the time I was like really torn because I didn't know if I should have. I was thinking like, should I call the cops? Should I call his parents? But it felt like it wasn't my decision to make. Like, if this is really what he wants to do, like, who am I to like take that away from him? And I remember I kind of thought about that for the few days after. Like, after he did kill himself, I was like, fuck. Like, should I have called the cops? Should I have called his parents? Like, I don't know. Like, if this is like my fault or not. Like, I thought about that for a while. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still not 100% over like what, I don't know what the right call is there. Like, I don't blame myself or anything for it. I don't know what, yeah, I don't know. That's a really hard one. I'm sure you can make an argument either way. I mean, I've heard convincing arguments both ways. Some people say that if somebody is suicidal, they're not in a right state of mind to kill themselves. So you should take that autonomy away from them using like the police or whatever. Other people say that that's a catch-22. Well, if you're going to say that somebody that's suicidal is not in the right state of mind, that means that literally nobody can ever kill themselves, because anytime they become suicidal, you're going to say that they're not in the right state of mind to do it. I think the argument the thing that I went with at the time was like, the thing is that like where I was at in my life and everything and where he was in his life, I couldn't really say like, dude, like just like tough it out, like it'll get better. I mean, like I told him that, but I don't know if he necessarily believed it. And I don't even know if that was necessarily true. I mean, I think it's probably true generally. If you're 20, you're really fucking young. But yeah. Do you ever think about it still? I feel like it might stick with me a bit if I were in your shoes. I don't know. There's like a lot of stuff that I try to think about. I try to think about it because I kind of wonder, like, does this affect me on a subconscious level? Do I have difficulties like forming relationships with everybody? I don't think it does. If anything, I kind of think like, I mean, it's sad. Like if you would have stuck around, like we would have been like a crazy streaming duo because we did everything. Like all the crazy like gaming shit that I did growing up was I did it with him. Like all of the crazy like PKing shit that we did in fucking RuneScape with like our dual fucking peers. A lot of dumb shit that we did in StarCraft. Dumb shit that we did on this. There was this gaming platform called Beyond. Where there were these crazy stupid games. We played fucking Load Wars. I think you guys remember we did that with chat one day. All these other crazy games. Like, yeah, we did like a lot of crazy stupid shit like that. And he was like gaming like all the time, so. Yeah, Beyond, BYOND. There were so many dumb, fun, crazy fucking games on that, yeah. Did he consider military? He was like a punk kid, I guess, like a punk kid. I don't think he would have ever fit in there. Like he was always like a fuck authority kind of person, like that kind of thing. Like a cool, rebellious kid or whatever, as much as you could be at 20 with no job and no car. Did you say he passed? Kind of. He laid down on some train tracks and he waited for a train to run him over. So yeah, I mean, he passed in that way. I think he died on his way to the hospital. An ACAB kind of person. Yeah, but not like an ACAB kind of person and like he's politically motivated, but that he would just like hate cops in general because they're probably busting him for doing some shit. Honestly, the criminal justice system fucks you so hard if you screw up that it's basically impossible to recover. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it fucks you really hard, for sure. When was the last time you cried? I actually cried so much on the last it's been a while, like over, I don't know, a decade or something. I don't know. I'm just not much of a crying person. Except for when I was on LSD, I cried a ton. Holy shit. I don't know why, but when I was on LSD, like everything was super emotional. And like my moods would swing like crazy towards the like the last half of my trip. Fuck, hold on. I don't know if my mom is listening or not. I hope she's not. Oh man, I hope she's not. But my mom called and I was super giggly. Oh shit, I don't know if I'll cry talking about this. This is so sad to me. About a year ago, my mom got a test where she tested positive for Alzheimer's. I think she got, they draw, the only way to, normally you don't test for this, but she did, I think it was like a lumbar puncture to draw cerebral spinal fluid out. And they did that test to see if she had Alzheimer's or not. And apparently she tested positive for it. So that's
Thanks
been
for
like
all the memes, Dad. Wowie.
So that's been like pretty stressful for her. But I remember that I called her when I was on LSD, usually because like I like talking to my mom, like even if we have our differences, especially politically, but I like talking to my mom. Like it's, you know, it's where I catch up, and I know that she really loves talking to me. And if I can make somebody's day like a million times better, yeah, I mean I can do it. It's pretty easy for me. And yeah, you should always call your parents. Your parents will love to hear from you if they haven't for a while. But yeah, so I called my mom and I was kind of giggly, kind of on LSD, and I know that she fucking hates it when I'm on drugs and shit. So I thought it'd be funny to call her. And while I was talking to her after we caught up a little bit, she started to tell me about her day. And oh man, she told me that on her day, she went around to a couple different doctors to get tests for her kidneys. Oh shit, hold on. I don't actually know if I can talk about this. This is actually so sad. Holy shit. She told me that she was driving around and doing tests for her kidneys. And I remember that I asked her on the phone, and I was like really confused. I was like, why are you getting your kidneys tested? And it's because she told me that she had read somewhere on the internet that there is some type of what do you call it? It's one of those things that can make people fat. When you have like hypothyroidism or something. I don't remember. It was something like this. But she said that she'd heard that that these types of things might have an impact on your memory. And so she was getting around. And I had this horrible impression in my head that my mom was like running around to all of these different doctors trying to get a different opinion that would say that she doesn't have Alzheimer's because she didn't want to accept it. And oh my God, dude, I died. I must have I cried harder than I've ever cried in my entire life for like the next like 5 minutes. Sorry, I didn't know I was gonna get emotional, but holy shit, It was so sad because I had this impression of like my mom like getting older and like getting confused and being scared in her house and not really knowing what's going on and trying to get answers from other doctors because she didn't want to think that she was going to die the same way her mom did in the next like 5 years or whatever. And oh my God, holy shit. Yeah, and then I had to hang up like 30 seconds later. Holy fuck, it was so hard. Holy shit, yeah. Did you cry on the phone with her? I don't know if she could tell I was or not, but yeah, because I hung up. But holy shit. Did you cry in front of Melina? Oh yeah, dude, I was dying for like 2 minutes. Oh my God, it was so bad. But I think it was because like the LSD like kicked my emotions into like overdrive. How is she doing now? I mean, she's doing fine, but like she'll be dead in it's like 5 to 8 years at the onset. So she was diagnosed. I don't know how far into it they catch it. So maybe like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I mean, like Alzheimer's is irreversible. There's nothing you can do to stop it once it starts. That's not actually true, LOL. If you want to correct me, you can post a source, but from what I read, Alzheimer's kills you in about 5 to 8 years, and I am very positive that it's irreversible. I know because I was looking for a whole bunch of different things you could do for it, because I would have given her all my money or fundraised the fuck out of whatever to see if there was some crazy treatment or whatever to get her into it. My grandma had Alzheimer's for like 15 years. I read 5 to 8 years from diagnosis. I don't know. Okay, wait. How long can you live with Alzheimer's? This is 3 to 11 years. Some survive 20 years or more. Okay, so maybe you can like make it for a really long time, I guess, depending on how it progresses. Life expectancy varies for each person. The average life expectancy is 8 to 10 years. Oh, okay, yeah. It can be as short as 3 or as long as 20. But yeah, I think basically what happens is like so much of the brain starts to rot away that what eventually kills you is you'll lose control of like some basic motor functions and you like choke on your tongue or something like that will eventually kill you or something. Yeah. Do you not worry that you or Nathan could get it? Yeah, actually, I thought about it a lot. After my mom got diagnosed, I started to... It's really weird because now, like, I'm pretty sure I don't have it, but, like, every time I forget something, I'll stop for 10 minutes, like, wait, what did I just forget? Like, okay, well, I was doing this. Like, every time you forget anything... I don't know if any of you have ever had, like, Alzheimer's in the family, but, like, I'll do that where I'll stop and like, wait, what was I just talking about? Like, oh, fuck, like, what happened? Like, oh, shit. I'll think about it, like, a million times over, and I get, like, super fucking paranoid, like, wait a second, fuck, do I have Alzheimer's now? Like, yeah. Honestly, that disease is one of my biggest fears. My grandmother had dementia. Yeah, for sure. Especially after the mushroom trip, because I kind of wonder, like, is Alzheimer's just like being in that crazy mushroom room every day, where like you get there and you're kind of in another world and you don't really know anything around you and everything is super unfamiliar and you don't know the people around you and you don't know like how long you've been alive or what existence is or what anything means or what's gonna happen. Like that's kind of what I feel like. I mean, I can't truly know, but like just because of like that crazy mushroom trip, I feel that's the perspective that I draw back on, where I wonder if this is what it'll feel like when it starts advancing. Because like people that get like towards the later parts of Alzheimer's start to become very anxious and very paranoid. They can get up and just leave the house. They won't recognize friendly people around them after a while. They start to get very agitated because they're very unfamiliar with their surroundings. Imagine like, have you ever stayed over at a friend's house or in a hotel and you go out partying and you come back and then you wake up one day and you don't actually know where you are because you're like at a friend's house and you're like, what the fuck? And you're like, oh shit, I'm at a friend's house, duh. Like imagine waking up like that, but it's your own home and you don't actually remember, you know?
Hey buddy, going through the same thing. My mom can hardly construct full sentences anymore, let alone remember us.
No.
Life sucks, but tomorrow will hopefully be better.
In terms of removing things you shouldn't worry about now, you getting Alzheimer's is one of them. Yeah, I mean, I don't stress over it all the time. Obviously, I can't really do anything about it. Like, yeah, like again, Alzheimer's is one of those diseases where like when it starts, like there's nothing. Like it goes and goes. Like you can have better days, but you can't slow the progression of the disease. It's really fucked. Have you talked to your mom about trying psychedelics? I have. I wanted to do LSD so badly, but yeah, I don't know. Have you been searching for clinical trials? My mom is in one. I thought about that when I was on LSD too. And it actually made me even sadder because my mom was on a clinical trial for Alzheimer's drugs. And I just remember thinking like, oh my God, like what if my mom was in the trial to get the Alzheimer's drugs and it turns out like being really positive and it's curing people, but she has the placebo. And that made me even more sad. And I started thinking like, I've got to find the people that are giving her the trial. I've got to find the researchers to get her the actual non-placebo drug. Like, yeah, holy shit. Does physical exercise slow down the progression of Alzheimer's? Nothing slows down Alzheimer's.
I came here for memes, not feels. Just wanted to tell everyone in chat I love you and you are a wonderful person.
Thanks, bud.
I would fuck you if I was gay.
Thanks,
Gashigasm.
If the drug starts proving to be effective, they do switch to the placebo use of the drug. Oh, that's cool. What do you think is scarier, Alzheimer's or late onset schizophrenia? I think I would rather the schizophrenia. I think psychotic breaks. Would schizophrenia kind of a psychotic break? I think like a semi-psychotic break is better than losing your memory. Because like at least I can start to learn like mental tools to try to distinguish between what's real and what's not real, even though it would be very difficult. But Alzheimer's is just, your memory's just gone. Like your actual like shit is dying. Like the hippocampus, the thing that like codifies like, I think the hippocampus is what creates short-term memories. It just rots away. Actually, we can look at these. I did a whole bunch of reading on fucking Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's brain scans. Like you can see.
Thanks for sharing, man. Your advice is solid and I hope your butterfly fans seriously listen.
Thanks, bud.
To your advice about maintaining momentum in life.
Like you can see that there are like, this isn't as exact, I guess is what I'm used to looking at, but like there are like specific regions of the brain that are just, fuck, I don't remember most of what I read, but I guess like basically like proteins start to build up in like some of the vessels in your brain and like blood doesn't get through and then it just starts like killing everything. Like things just start dying. Like you can't do anything about it. Like you're like parts of your brain just start to die off and there's no way that you can like clear it out or stop it. I don't, prions, yeah, that was it. But people don't know why. You don't remember because yeah. Oh yeah, this is like the drawing. Yeah, I guess I would be familiar with this because it's from the Wikipedia article. You can see the so your cerebral cortex, I think, is responsible for most of your like higher cognitive thought. Like ends up shrinking away. And then here is your hippocampus, which is like your memory part that just like starts dying. Yeah, it's really scary. Do people know they have Alzheimer's? I think at some point. I think something will happen. So my mom said that she was having a lot of weird things where she couldn't remember what spoons were called. Like she would pick up a spoon and she just couldn't remember the name of it and she thought it was silly. But one day she was out driving because she had to go pick somebody up or do something, and she was driving and she was stopped at a stoplight, and then all of a sudden
Destiny, are you gonna do the 23andMe DNA test? It can tell you have you Altimeter's gene, I think. Devin did it.
Maybe. My mom was sitting at a stoplight, and then she had this feeling where she was like, what am I doing here? Like, she had no idea why she was there. She didn't remember why she'd left the house. She didn't remember what she was doing or why she was driving. And she was just, and she was like, oh shit. And after she had that moment, she went to the hospital to get a test to figure out what was going on. How old is my mom? I think she's 65, I think. Are there super expensive treatments wealthier people can get for Alzheimer's? No, you can't. Once the disease starts progressing, you can't slow it down or stop it. There are things that you can do, like if you exercise and stuff to keep your brain healthy, you can have better days, but it's always decreasing. Like you can't stop the progression at all. I'm an only child. No, I've got 5 siblings. Is there anything preventative you can do? Yeah, there's a lot of things that people say might be preventative, but it's still really hard. I don't think, from the reading that I did, we don't fully understand what causes Alzheimer's yet. I think there are things that are highly correlated with having Alzheimer's, but I just don't think we know 100%. Yeah, like some people are saying keto, that like ketogenic diets might be associated with like having a reduction in the number of people with Alzheimer's, or like certain like exercise related things or brushing your teeth or whatever. Like there are some weird links, but we just don't know much about like the underlying mechanisms right now. Would you bother doing any of the potential preventative measures if you found out you had the gene? Maybe, I'm not sure. What about dementia? Maybe. I mean, Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia. I don't know if dementia means anything of it in and of itself. Like I think dementia is like a general thing, and then you have like forms of dementia. And I think Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, right? Every single day, lol, that's a Snoop Dogg. Oh, okay. I don't know if you've ever heard of Huntington's disease, but it runs in my family, and I'll need to be tested to see if I have it in about 5 to 6 years. Yeah, I know all about Huntington's disease because I watched House. That's the only thing I know about it. Oh, dementia is a symptom of Alzheimer's. Okay. It's funny how many opinions Destiny has about Alzheimer's despite not being a doctor. I mean, if I say anything wrong, you can correct me instead of being a dick, but I mean, I don't think I've said anything incorrect at this point. I mean, if I say something wrong, feel free to fucking link it. I mean, you can get symptomatic relief from Alzheimer's by using acetylcholine esterase inhibitors. I don't know what that means. Yeah, there are things you can do to like temporarily boost your functions while having Alzheimer's, but it doesn't actually slow or reverse the disease right now. Dementia is just a collection of symptoms, not a symptom in and of itself. Okay. You said Alzheimer's was a prion disease? I don't know if it was or wasn't. I know that it's caused by like some shit like prions building up or proteins building up or some weird shit. I mean, we can go and read the Wikipedia. It's identified as a protein misfolding disease caused by plaque accumulation of abnormally folded amyloid beta protein and tau protein in the brain. Plaques are made up of small peptides, 39 to 43 amino acids in length, called amyloid beta. Amyloid beta is a fragment, a sub-beta, can you say that? Amyloid beta is a fragment of the larger amyloid precursor protein. APP is a transmembrane protein that penetrates through the neuron's membrane. APP is critical to neuron growth, survival, and post-injury repair. In Alzheimer's disease, gamma secretase and beta secretase act together in a proteolic process, which causes APP to be divided into smaller fragments. One of these fragments give rise to fibrils of amyloid beta, which then form clumps that deposit outside neurons in dense formations known as senile plaques. There you go. Destiny, that hypothesis is on shaky ground because new drugs that minimize plaques aren't proving to be effective. Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like when I was doing reading into it, because I was really curious if there was anything I could point my mom to help, it was pretty depressing. Like,
Biochemist here, you did surprisingly well pronouncing those terms.
I try, buddy. Some of the progress that we've made on some diseases is fucking unbelievable that I didn't know until I started reading into it. So, like, here's something that you may or may not know. I think I've said this on stream several times. Like, this is just fascinating because you never hear about it in the mainstream. The life expectancy, I think, for having HIV is about normal now. Like, if you have HIV, I think you live about as long as a normal person. As long as you take your, I think it's, you get like 3 pills, your retrovirals or whatever, you more or less make it about as long as a normal person. I didn't know that. Having HIV, like, isn't that big of a deal anymore. It's actually worse for your life expectancy to have diabetes than it is to have HIV. Diabetes cuts 10 years off your lifespan. So that's something I had no idea. So I was kind of hoping when my mom said she had Alzheimer's, like, oh, fuck, well, let's read into Alzheimer's. Maybe there's like some crazy drugs and shit and I could help them afford it or whatever, that you can take that like reverses or slows down Alzheimer's. But all the reading I did was pretty depressing, like dead end as fuck. That like pretty much no progress has been made in slowing down or reversing Alzheimer's whatsoever. Yeah.
I am 17. I am really scared that I am not doing enough to have a stable relationship with my
grandparents. Hold on, I'll answer you in 1 second. Wait, somebody asked if you can transmit HIV. If you're on the retrovirals and your HIV count becomes undetectable in your bloodstream, I'm pretty sure you can't transmit it to other people. I could be wrong on that. Don't go getting fucked by your boyfriend in the ass because you're like, oh, fuck it, I can't get it. But I'm pretty sure that if you're on the right antiretrovirals and the count has fallen low enough that it's undetectable in your blood, I don't think you can transmit it to people anymore. It's insane. It's like it's pretty insane. Like I think like if you do the math, it works out that if you got fucked by a random person, you have a higher chance of contracting HIV from somebody that's never been tested before than from somebody that's HIV positive on those retrovirals. Like because there's a small chance that they might have it and not have been diagnosed. Like, yeah, it's insane. Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't know any of this until I read into this like a year ago. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, sorry. I'm 17. I'm really scared that I'm not doing enough to have a stable relationship with my grandparents, and I know I'll regret it heavily when they pass. I can call and say I love you all I want, but the same feeling lingers that I wasn't a good grandson. I mean, just call them and say hi when you can. Like, fuck. Like, the medication is called PrEP, and you can't contract it if your partner is on it or if you're on it. So the okay, I could be wrong here. PrEP, I think, is something different. That's something that you take, and I think while you're taking PrEP, you can't get HIV. So, like on Grindr, there's like an option for this. I noticed it like, I think if you're active in gay communities, they recommend that you take PrEP, because as long as you're on it, I don't think you can contract HIV, but I don't think you give PrEP to people that already have HIV. I could be wrong on that. With all that, it seems like HIV might be all but eliminated in our lifetime. Yeah, it's crazy. It seems like it. Like, yeah, that HIV is just like not really that big of a deal or whatever. That was insane to me when I started reading about it. I couldn't believe it. It's like, what the fuck? Why have I never heard about any of this? Why does nobody talk about this? This is fucking amazing. But yeah, but for Alzheimer's, it seems like, oh, well, if you have it, you're still like pretty much completely fucked. Like, that sucks shit. It's really depressing. Yeah. If you have AIDS, dementia, and diabetes, what's your life expectancy? So AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. If HIV has killed enough of your immune system that you're considered to have AIDS, I think your life expectancy is very, very, very fucking low. Isn't it like less than a year? The problem is that you have like, there's so much bacteria that lives in your body that's like chill and kind of like lives with you and is like bro as fuck. But then when your immune system gets fucked, they're like, yeah, fuck it. Like, you know, give an inch, we're going to take a mile. And then all of that bacteria starts to kill you. And I think you can try to like flood a person with antibiotics to like do some of these infections, but like you die of infections that healthy people just don't get. You're not supposed to get these types of infections that kill you, and it's just you can't. Yeah, your immune system does so much for your body, like all the time. Like it's constantly fighting off like infections and killing things. Even cancer it kills, I think, on a daily basis, right? I think your immune system does, but like when you become like heavily immunocompromised, you're pretty fucked. Aren't we going to have a supervised virus with antibiotics soon? Maybe, with staph infections and shit. Why does AIDS affect black people more than any other group? So my understanding of it is that one way that you can increase the chances of contracting HIV is if you have sex with somebody and you have a foreskin. Your foreskin tears a lot during sex, but they're more like microlesions. It doesn't really, like microlesions, but microlesions don't really matter that much if you get like these mini tears or whatever. But if you're fucking somebody that has HIV, these microlesions are going to make it significantly more likely that you actually contract the virus. So African countries tend not to lop off people's foreskins like we do in Western countries, and people there tend to have a much higher prevalence of HIV. Therefore, you just kind of have like, and people there are poor as fuck and have nothing more to do than to fuck each other. So you just kind of end up with like the perfect storm for transmitting HIV more to people. People have foreskins. People are fucking a lot. People have HIV. I'm talking about African Americans. I don't think that African Americans in the U.S. are like all dying of HIV. I think in the U.S. it's a pretty rare thing. Why are you anti-circumcision then? Because we don't have enough HIV for you to need to get like circumcision in the US. It's not like a huge thing. People in the US tend to have foreskins, right? No, people in the US are overwhelmingly circumcised. Although most girls seem pretty chill. I've never met a girl that's been like, ew, foreskin. So I mean, whatever. It's not rare at all. I've seen so many patients with HIV. Wait, are you a doctor? Why would you say something so fucking stupid? Cases of HIV, United States. I mean, like, it's fairly rare. 1.1 million people aged 13 and older had HIV infections in the United States, so that's, I guess, 1 out of 300. That's 13 and older, so I don't know how many of these people are, like, in pretty advanced age groups, too. I'm not sure. But it's not, like, I don't think, like, HIV isn't, like, something that, like, you're seriously worried about getting in the US. Like, it's a pretty fucking rare thing. And it's also like much more prevalent in like gay communities too. Gay and drug communities as well, right? Because Reagan created it. Compare that with chlamydia or gonorrhea in the US. I think chlamydia and gonorrhea rates are about 2 to 4%. I mean, seeing it more in hospitals makes sense as people go to the doctor when they're sick. Yeah, I know, but I don't know why a doctor would say that. It's a really stupid statement, right? Like, do you think a lot of people have cancer? Dude, almost everybody has cancer. Fuck, dude, I see hundreds of people with cancer every week. It's like, holy shit, man, what do? I'm an oncologist. Oh, okay. I don't understand why it's still primarily in the gay community. Surely it's 10% to spread to the general population. I think the chances of contracting AIDS through vaginal sex, or HIV, is pretty low, isn't it? Is it like 1 in 50 or 1? Unprotected sex with an HIV positive person who has acute HIV infection could carry transmission risk of up to 2% for receptive vaginal sex and 20% for receptive anal sex. It's much, much, much higher for ass fucking than it is for vaginal sex. So, like, gay people have a higher chance of transmitting it because of that. Yeah, also, your rectum isn't meant for dick, so it's harder to... If you get fucked a lot, you have more micro tears, more chances of transmission. Would you commit suicide before late-stage Alzheimer's? I think if you had somebody next to you that you loved and you woke up with every day, I think it'd be okay. It'd be really hard for them, though, so I don't know. Do you think gay men should be allowed to donate blood? Yeah, sure. Why not? They test it all. Blood is blood. Suicide would be so much better than late-stage advanced Alzheimer's. You say that now, but you wouldn't know that while you were experiencing it, right? That's the whole point. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You guys in chat might not know this, but for a long time, gay people were banned from giving blood no matter what. Even though they tested for HIV, gay people were just banned from donating blood. They still are? I thought they made it legal in California. Am I crazy? Genital herpes prevention? I think the only... Okay, you should do your own research. I think the research that I came up with was the only time you can actually contract herpes from another person is when the virus is shedding, so when they have sores. However, it's possible that people can have asymptomatic sheddings of the virus, meaning that somebody with herpes, it could come up and you are shedding the virus, but you don't actually have any sores, so they could be infectious without you being able to see it. But I think that happens like once a year. I don't think it's very common when a person is shedding, but yeah. But I think that's generally what I came out on. There's herpes simplex A, which most people have, and it's just the cause of those tiny cultures every now and then. And there's simplex B, which causes grotesque mutations on the genital space. Okay, I could be wrong, but my understanding is it's not A and B. There's HSV1 and HSV2. HSV1 tends to be on the face. HSV2 tends to be in the genitals, but either one can go to either place. If you get cold sores, if you have HSV1 up here, you can give that to somebody genitally, firstly. Secondly, neither herpes is that bad. I don't think it is. I think there's a huge stigma around it, but I don't think it's that bad. Or abandoned muslims, okay. How much effort are you willing to put into courting a girl? What's the cutoff limit? I mean, it really depends on what the girl is offering. But because of like my position streaming and shit on like Tinder and shit, it's real low effort for me. If I'm getting one-word responses back, fuck that shit. But that's because like I have like access to other people because of my job, right? I don't know if I would use Tinder for more than like I feel like trying to fuck people you work with or go to school with is so much better. Yeah, but I work with sweaty ass nerds. Praelia, are you a girl that works in STEM? Destiny, ever hear the phrase "don't shit where you eat"? People say that shit all the time. But everybody, oh, I'm a guy that works in IT? Oh, well, you're double fucked then. Everybody fucks around at workplaces. Like, everybody says it, but everybody, like, there's just no way. If you're sexually attracted to women and you work with women, you see a woman every single day, you go through the same struggles, the same pains, you share experiences on a daily basis, you're gonna, like, shit's gonna happen. It just has to. Like, when you put people together like that and you are working together all the time and you talk to each other and everybody is friends outside of work and they hang out together, like, it's gonna happen. It always does. If you value sex and outperforming other partners, why don't you prioritize working out and flexibility to increase your ability during sex? I don't think being more flexible makes you do anything cooler during sex. Getting stronger helps. When I'm like actually in shape and like deadlifting and shit, like you can like hold a girl against a wall and fuck her or whatever. But I mean, like, I don't think that much crazy shit gets unlocked at like new levels of fitness unless you want to like fucking hold a girl up in the air and like fucking, I don't know, do some like, I think in general, like, I don't know. I mean, like, this is kind of like meme-y shit. I don't know. I guess it's possible, but have you talked about taking creatine to help with lifting? I haven't been recently. I did do creatine when I was lifting, the last time I was lifting seriously before I hurt my back a long time ago. Creatine, the only thing creatine helped me with was like, I felt like, so my plans were always 3x5. Like sometimes when you increase the weight, you could tell that you were going to be doing like 5 reps, and then maybe like 3 or 4 reps, like on the last set. Like that was like, but it felt like if I did creatine, I could always hammer out those last 2 reps. That was like the only thing that like I don't know if like that's what it's normally supposed to do, but that's usually what it helped me do. Like creatine always made it so that I could finish like all of my reps at the end. Like it gave me like that. Like if I could have only done 4 reps, but I was like had all my fucking creatine shit in line, then like I'm doing that last rep on that last set. Like I don't know, that's what I felt like, but I don't know if it was like actually necessary or not. What's creatine? I think if you're lifting seriously, probably every single person should be on creatine. I don't know if this is the bro explanation or not, but supposedly it helps store like water or something closer to the muscles, so it makes you look like a little bit bigger, kind of, and then it makes a little bit more energy available to you, like when you're like getting into that part of your workout where you're starting to get like a little bit tired, I guess. Creatine is like one of the most tested substances of like all fucking time. Like, and there's still rumors around it. People say that like like I'm seeing the baldness memes posted in chat. I don't think creatine causes baldness. Like people say that, but I don't think it's ever been like proven. But creatine is like the most fucking tested substance, like workout substance, like of like all fucking time. I don't know. You'll probably get dehydrated easier. Oh, maybe. If you're ever having trouble, here's a meme that I didn't realize until way too late. There's only one acceptable way to take creatine, okay? There's only one acceptable way to take creatine, okay? Glass of water, you take your fucking your teaspoon or whatever in, you take the scoop out, put it in your mouth, drink the water, and be fucking done with it. Mixing that shit into like a liquid is so fucking disgusting. It tastes like you're drinking something and there's like sand accumulating around your teeth. Oh my god. People that mixing creatine, the powder shit, with anything is so fucking nasty. Holy shit. Are there pills? Oh, I didn't know there were like creatine pills or whatever. But oh my god, dude. I used to try to mix creatine with like my protein things and it tasted like I just had like a bunch of sand that was in my fucking ugh. Do you still go to the gym consistently? I just started again. I took a month break though when I went to Sweden. Dude, trips kill me. But I was going every day with Melina. Well, not every day, but every other day. Do you think the morality of killing Minecraft cows can be attached to the morality of killing real life cows? Yes. What? How much creatine were you putting in your protein? I think they tell you when you're just starting, aren't you supposed to super load? Like you do like 20 milligrams. Is it 20 milligrams or 20 grams? For your first one, and then you do like 5 per day afterwards or whatever to like build up the levels in your body. It's grams, yeah. So you do like 20 on like the first day. Yeah, 20 kilograms. You load like 20 on the first day to like build your levels up, or maybe for a few days. I don't know. And then after that you do like 5 a day or something. What's your highest bench of all time? Really fucking low. I think I could 1 rep max 135 when I was like at my strongest, but I weighed like 165, so it's not good. My upper body has always been way weaker than my lower body, and my lower body's not even that strong anyway. I think the highest I got my deadlift to was I could rep 205 times. Fuck that shit, okay? We lift with our brain on Wikipedia, boys. That's not bad. My bench isn't great. 135, well, that's after like months of training. My upper body is like really, really, really weak. Like naturally very weak. When I started benching, when I started working out like 5 years ago or whatever, and then I'm always like on and off. I think I started with like, I think 65 was like the most I could bench reliably. I'm like doing like a full shitter workout now. Well, now that I'm back from Sweden, I was doing, I was lifting again with Melina before we left, and I was getting my lifts up again. But now that I'm back, I don't know. I hate squatting so much, dude. I actually fucking hate it. Which is bad, but oh god. But I love deadlifting.
Turn around.
But now what I do, here is the ultimate shitter. Oh, you're dead. Here is my shitter lifting plan before. How many push-ups could I do? I think I got up to like 30 push-ups. I started doing push-ups. I think I started doing push-ups before I went back to the gym. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna fucking do some shit. So I think I could do like 30 push-ups. Which was okay for me. I've never gotten to that whatever before. Oh, the shitter workout I'm doing now until TwitchCon is every other day in one set. Yeah, just in one set. I don't know how many multiple sets I could do. Every other day, we go to the gym and we do bench press. I think I'm trying to do 3 by 12. I'm just going for maximum hypertrophy. Fuck all that strength shit, baby. Fuck that endurance shit, baby. We're maximum hypertrophy, okay? We load 80 pounds on that bar, 12 fucking reps 3 times, and then we do fucking pull-ups, all right? I want to grow them arms, get them back and boobs up, and that's all I'm going to do for 2 months until TwitchCon. That's the fucking dream. Fuck the deadlifts. Fuck the squats. I don't care about that shit. That's all I'm doing right now. How many pull-ups can you do? I don't think I've ever been able to do a single pull-up in my life. At my max, I think right now I could probably do like 3 or 4 chin-ups. And then I think at my best I could do about 10 chin-ups in a row. But pull-ups are so much harder. Fuck that shit. But I'm doing pull-ups now. That's what I'm training. So, fuck all that noise, dude. If for hypertrophy, why not do curls and shit? Because I don't want to do 20 different types of fucking lifts, all right? I just go in, we load that bar to 50% of our max. We do 3 by 12, okay? Because lots of reps, 2 minutes between sets. And then we do 3 by 12 on the negative pull-up machine. I think I'm at like negative 46 pounds right now for it. And then that's it. Do planks, it'll help with pull-ups. Fuck off, dude. No, it won't. What about squats do you hate so much? I'm pretty, like, I have, like, really good, like, ankle and hip flexibility. So, like, when I squat, I feel like I should squat, like, ass to grass. But it's so hard. And it's, like, it's a mentally hard lift for me. Like, I think before I went to Sweden, I got my squats back up to 115. So I could do 115 for 5 reps, 3 sets, that's hard for me, okay? It's mentally hard for me, all right? But my deadlifts, I got back up to 190. So, like, and it feels so much better, dude. Fuck. I don't know. I'd love deadlifting so much more. It feels so much better. And squatting is just, I don't know. I feel like my deadlift grows so much quicker than my other, than my other lifts. And fuck it. I feel like if I actually went like pretty often, I feel like I could build up to like a good like 275 or 280 deadlift. Like I feel like I could get there like on beginner big gains like pretty easily. How's your deadlift form? I think it's pretty good. I usually have Melina watching me, shouting at me if I fuck up or not. That seems normal. You should be a bit stronger on deadlift. Yeah, you should be, but I would imagine at like a 185 deadlift, I should be squatting at least 135 probably. I don't know. My squat is really weak. Well, all my lifts are really weak, but proportional to my deadlift, my squat is really bad. Is it possible to get upwards of 6% in a savings account? I don't think so. Even money market deposit accounts aren't going to pay 6%. That's really high. Do you do low bar or high bar squat? I think it's high bar. I think the bar goes back on my, it sits, there's like a little shelf that your shoulder makes and it like sits there. Whatever the fuck that is. I think that's high bar. On your delts and traps. Maybe, yeah, something up there. What is low bar? I think low bar is way farther down on the back. But I don't know. If does it make sense to do low bar and deadlifts? Don't those hit like a lot of the same things? I don't know. Is a meme contest going to extend through the night? Yeah, I'll make them stop at the same time and then start at the same time tomorrow. Do you pull sumo or traditional? I just do traditional. I don't know what any meme deadlift shit is. I think feet square up under the bar like this, pointing straight forward, and then you reach down. Once I get past like 165, I have to do like the alt hand grip or whatever, but it's all good. Amen, brother. But not anymore. Now we're just doing bench presses and fucking pull-ups until TwitchCon. That's all we're fucking doing. Try to grow them arms, okay? That's the dream. Just a little bit. Hands between the legs equals traditional. Hands outside the legs equals sumo. Wait, what? Wait. Hands inside the legs? That sounds so weird. My hands are always outside my legs. So whatever that is, that's what I do. Hands inside are sumo. Oh yeah, fuck that shit. Are you going to have sex with Caterino? Implying I haven't already. Several times. Do girls like abs, arms, pecs, or calves the most? Girls don't like calves. That's some dumb shit. I don't know I've never heard that before. I think girls mean that, but I don't think they give a fuck. Girls actually like all types of bodies. I've unironically had people that are like, oh, like I like you, it's fun to cuddle with you, I like your belly or whatever. Like unironically, girls say some dumb shit like that. I think I believe them. In terms of like if you're gonna work out to look good for girls, I think the most common things that I hear girls liking are, one is like a nice back is really sexy. Strong forearms, so like veiny forearms or like strong forearms are really hot. And then like arms can be really hot. I think that's generally the things that I hear the most. And then sometimes like power lifters will meme and girls will lie on the internet. It's like, oh, I really like it when guys have nice legs. Like, oh, sexy quads. Like, don't skip leg day, bro. Like, girls aren't going to fucking cuddle with your legs when you're a fucking guy. Fuck out of here with that shit. Girls like abs a lot too. I don't know if that's true. I've never heard girls talk about that. I think it's usually things like arms or like shoulders or like back or like forearms. Because I don't think you interact with a guy's abs a lot, like as a girl. But like if you're cuddling with somebody, like you might like hold or hug their arm or something, or that's like what you feel around you. That's generally what, or at least that's generally what I hear. But oh yeah, or chest too, sure. Why not ask two girls you have competing? I'm just telling you the general shit that I hear. I'm never gonna ask like one girl to figure out, like, because both of these guys in chat could have some crazy fucking. I'm not gonna unmute. They're like, oh, actually, I really like guys with good hams, because then I know that they're getting their full range of motion on their fucking squat workout, and that's real important to me. I want functional. I don't know if they're gonna say some real dumb shit or some crazy fucking bullshit. I'm not gonna risk that. Fuck that shit. Fuck women. Amen, brother. Not in the good way either. Just fuck them. Girls like a nice butt as well? Yeah, for sure. Also, girls mostly like high viewer counts. True! I need some new shit to do in bed. Help me out, man. Fucking is getting stale. What is the newest, craziest shit you can do? Hold on. Is it time? Are we at time for the daily sex talks? Nice job, dude. It feels just like a girl streamer. The number one... Okay, here is the number one easiest cool meme you can do that that will be really amazing if you've never done it before, and it's super easy, okay? Girl lay on her back, get both your pillows, and put both the pillows underneath her butt and fuck her. Super easy. Will be a totally new sensation. She'll love it. That's one like super easy meme. Here is something. I should charge you guys for this shit. Here is something that is like insanely effective, okay? I have never met anybody that this wasn't crazy effective on, okay? So if you have like a person's ear, like the pretty standard thing is to like, I guess standard if you like play with people's ears, is to like nibble on like the earlobe here. Like people typically really like this. If you've never done this before, do that, okay? People like that, okay? But the bonus super secret like killer move is there's a thing that comes out of the ear right here that like if like their inner ear is like here, whatever, there's this part that comes out. This thing is super, super sensitive. Holy shit. Whatever, the tragus, whatever this is insanely fucking sensitive. Holy fuck. This is a good killer move. But like just be like aware of what you're doing. Don't be like drooling and like filling their brain up with like your fucking saliva if you're doing shit like that. But this is yeah, there's a secret powerful good meme. How do you get big forearms? Forearms come from grip, right? I think the muscles in your forearm are what you use to grip things. So anything that trains your grip, you could buy one of those things that you squeeze at your desk. But like hanging probably helps, like negatives, like just hanging on a bar, doing deadlifts, doing weighted pull-ups, like stuff like that is going to get you like probably bigger forearms. I think forearms are, I could be wrong. I'm getting super into bro science. This is really bro sciencey, so I might be wrong with this, okay? I think that forearms, there are certain muscles in the body that respond really well to strength training, and then there are certain muscles in the body that I think respond really well to high volume training. The two muscles that I hear respond the best to lots of fucking volume are your calves and your forearms. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard people say the meme that like this is why fat people when they lose weight always have like big calves is because they're like moving with their fucking fat ass body all the time. And so like calves are like one of those muscles that respond to like really high volume training. And then I've heard the same with forearms, that like just doing a lot of deadlifts isn't going to get you forearms, but if you do like hanging negative pull-ups for a long fucking time, or if you have like those grip things you work out all the time, that stuff like that, like hell, I don't know if that's actually true or not, but I hear that a lot. Here is like, I don't like to tell other people, I never tell anybody at the gym how to do anything, especially because I'm weak as fuck. Here is one thing that I noticed that a lot of people do. This is like a totally random meme. You don't have to take any lifting advice from me, and maybe you shouldn't. Melina did this too, and it actually triggers the ever-living fuck out of me, and I see a lot of people do this. I don't know why. Anytime you're benching or doing anything with your hands, guys, your wrist needs to go underneath the fucking weight. I noticed that it's like super common. Even I'll see people deadlifting like, people will be benching like 2 plates, and they'll do this thing where their hand is around the bar, and then their wrist is here, and they're doing this shit. What? Don't fucking do this. What the fuck? Hold your fucking shit properly. What the fuck? You have muscles in your fucking arms. Use them, okay? God damn. Yeah, it looks painful as fuck to look at people do this shit. I can't believe it. What the fuck? But I mean, these guys are lifting weight that's so heavy I couldn't even fucking spot them, so. That's called suicide grip? No. Suicide grip is when you, because for some people it's uncomfortable to have their thumbs wrapped around the bar. Sometimes they just bring their thumbs back so they don't have it wrapped around the bar. That's called suicide grip. But for other people, because they don't want to train their wrists, or because they've gotten used to pushing a lot of weight without training their wrists, they can't actually support the rate above they can't support the weight above their actual arm. So they get used to letting it hang kind of. I mean, it works, I guess. Like, but I mean, like, fuck. Like, why would you want to be like, have wrists that fucking weak? Fuck that shit. Suicide grip is without thumbs. Fuck that. Suicide grip. I think we've actually watched somebody die on stream before doing that. I think lifting 3 plate or maybe more. Yeah, but you can kill yourself pretty easily suicide gripping. I think we watched one dude that was doing a power lift, and he dropped the weight on his chest, and the guy picked it up real quick. But he died pretty shortly after. Yeah. Okay, I don't do explosive exercises because fuck that shit, okay? But my understanding was that for like power cleans, that this is okay. Is that not true? I don't actually know. But I thought for power cleans, you're not like, it's okay to hold it like that because you're not pushing the weight. You're just like resting it. Like once you have it in this position, you're just holding it and then dropping it and then redoing it. You don't need to support it under your wrists like you're about to like push it or press it. Also, so this is 315 pounds. This is an insane power clean. These explosive movements, so like where you're athletically moving something, rather than just like slowly like kind of pushing it up or down. This is so insane. This is so much weight for somebody to do. Holy shit. I wonder if we could find like a strength standards. If we say Tyler 1 weighs 190, he's like at the like elite lifting level for this. I think somebody told me he weighed 185, but this is like, this power clean is so good. Holy shit. It's so good. Oh, I'm sorry. This chart actually, usually these standards are actually even. These are usually for your 1 rep max. I think he's doing 8 reps of this. Fuck, what is the math? To get from your 8 rep max to your 1 rep max, at 8 reps, you're probably doing 75% max. Right? Probably closer to 65% of what you can do. So if he's doing 315 it would be 315 divided by, we'll say 75%. So his 1 rep max, he might be able to power clean, maybe for a 1 rep max, maybe 4 plates. They are not 45s? Wait. You don't think these are... You don't think he was using 45-pound plates? I'm pretty sure he would. He said it on stream, right? I don't think he would lie about that. They look like 55s? It wasn't a set. It was a 1 rep max? Wait, what? I'm pretty sure he does 8 reps here. Okay, if these are bumpers, these are like the thickest like 10-pound bumpers I've ever seen in my life. These have to be like 45. I mean, I guess technically all bumpers are the same size, right? But Jesus fuck. Nah, this is definitely a 1 rep max. He's just repeating it 8 times. You're not actually doing 8 reps, dude. You're just doing 8 sets of 1 rep without any rest in between. It's actually way different, dog. And it's actually not 315. It's actually only like 270 because you don't really count the bar. That's my... I think there's a bodybuilding thread on that where they argue. Do you count the bar? Oh, shit. There's so many dumb fucking things you could say to trigger people. I've actually, like, I could bench 2 plates. And they're like, wow, 225? No, 135. Wait, why would you, what do you mean 2 plate? That's 1 plate. No, how could you bench 1 plate? It would be, the bar would be so uneven. You have to put at least 2 on it, right? Have you seen the bodybuilding thread where that guy tries to fit 8 days into a week of lifting? His math, dude, checks out. Check the calendar he does. He does it for a whole month. That guy is amazing. That's a legendary thread. That's probably one of my favorite threads of all time. That goes on for a full like 6 pages of arguing, and every page like delivers more than the last. Wait, didn't you say you didn't count the bar, or was that a meme on Raj? Yeah, I actually shouldn't have done that, because apparently most people think I'm actually completely fucking stupid. It's a meme. Yeah, I argue that on Raj. You don't count the bar when you're lifting. But yeah, of course you do. But like some people will meme argue that you're not supposed to count the bar when you're lifting, but I don't think anybody got that, so I just looked like a fucking moron. But yeah, whatever. All right.
Even worse.
Good luck, guys. Ripperino, cappuccino, pappuccino, cappuccino, 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 cappuccino. See you, dude. Arenas tomorrow. Peace out. Nothing you do can ever fake genuine interest, okay? There is no tip or trick for that. If you're trying to fake genuine interest in somebody, it'll never fucking work. Don't do that, right? But